All right, ladies and gentlemen, on FSPN, we're doing a little watch-along. Thursday night football. Yep, it's September the 11th, 2025, 2000 hours here on the East Coast of America. We got a little Thursday night football coming at you. Washington Commanders and the Green Bay Packers. So might as well take a look, see what's going on a Thursday night. First Thursday nighter, well, except for the opener. Well, as we've gotten into the season, now we're going to get into a regular cadence. Monday night football, Thursday night football. Sometimes there's a Friday night football. Then Saturday belongs to the college ranks. And then, of course, the NFL's big day, Sunday, where we do the watch-alongs on the Green Bean channel. And we do Coffee with Frankie at 10 a.m. And we keep track of everything with the Jets. But tonight, a little Thursday night football action. Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field against Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. So we'll take a look. We'll chat it up. We'll see who wants to arrive on a Thursday night in the chat, if anybody. We'll take a look. And we'll see what's going on. And Todd is here. Good to see Todd. He says audio and picture are good. All right. Thank you, Todd. Hi Karate is here. It's going good, Hi Karate. It's Thursday night, which means tomorrow is Friday, which means we're almost to the weekend. And so it's all good in the hood. And going to watch a little Thursday night football. We're going to watch Jaden Daniels and these Washington Commanders play the Green Bay Packers. Now, both of these teams, interestingly, have what? Super Bowl aspirations, I would say. Omatic is here. The Atomic Clock is here. What happened to Purdy? Got injured, the Atomic Clock. He's injury. Brock Purdy, if you missed it, injury. He's going to be out 2 to 5 weeks. It looks like a little turf toe problem for Mr. Purdy. So that means it's time for McQuirkle. It's McQuirkle time in San Francisco as Macaroni Jones and his noodle arm take control of the 49ers without George Kittle, without Brandon Ayuk, without Deebo Samuel, traded away to these Washington Commanders. But with Jake Tunges and with Christian McCaffrey, McQuirkle's going to try to lead the 49ers to a victory this weekend against your New Orleans Saints. That's what happened, Atomic. So we're going to keep track of all of this. We're going to see what's going on. We're going to keep an eye on these quarterbacks. Should be a good matchup. Jordan Love, top QB in the league. Jaden Daniels, top QB in the league. And very similar styles. They can spin it. They can run it. Very athletic, both of them. So we will have to see. But you'd have to think now that the Packers are in the definite Super Bowl or bust mode. I mean, they made a trade for Micah Parsons, traded 2 first-round picks. So they're going to be a little light on the draft picks in the coming years. So they got to make a Super Bowl run within the next 2 to 3 years, you would think. So that would be this year, next year, the year after that. Super Bowl window for these Green Bay Packers. So we'll see how they do in terms of that. That's a different expectation than a team like the Jets. Karate says, who you got? I don't know. I gotta see these two teams play a little bit more. I did watch Washington's first game, and Jaden Daniels looked okay. Looked good. The Packers, I don't know. We got to see what they do with Parsons and how that all works out. One thing I will say, Deebo looks like the old Deebo. So if you know Deebo Samuel, sometimes he gets a little overweight. Sometimes he has a little motivation problem. But from the early returns this year, does not look like that's a problem for him. So that's good news for Jaden Daniels. He's got a good running game. He's got Debo. He's got Scary Terry. He's got Zach Ertz in the house with the tight end catches. So there shouldn't be any problem for Jaden Daniels. They should all be these two teams should both be contenders to go up against the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. I don't like this little display they have on the field with the I don't know what that is, like giant snow globes on the field. That's pretty strange. But the Packers are going to come out in their all-white uniforms. Those are looking pretty sweet. The Commanders, formerly known as the Redskins, they are wearing the burgundy and gold uniforms. Those are looking nice. So we got to see how these Packers look with Micah Parsons and all of this. They do have two offensive linemen that are out today. So how does the fact that they're not having Zach Tom and the other guy, one of their offensive linemen also out. So they got backups in there as far as offensive line goes. So we got to see how Jordan Love does in that situation without two of his starting linemen. But this should be a heavyweight bout. You know, these should be the two of the contenders to steal the crown from from the Eagles in the NFC. And so, it's really about let's see how strong these teams really are. Or are they going to be fraudulent? It's hard to imagine that, but these are two very strong rosters. Let's see how the teams play. You know, I'm just rooting for somebody to knock off the Eagles. I'm kind of sick of the Eagles and Howie Roseman making every move under the sun, always trading for people and this and that. And they've been to the Super Bowl a couple of times now. It's time for somebody else. You know, whether it be the Packers, the Commandos, the Lions, somebody's got to knock these people off, right? So, these are two of the contenders, so it should be a heavyweight bout tonight. Daniels' sophomore slump, who knows? Atomic clock, we'll have to see. I don't know how anybody could predict that. There's been no change for him in terms of play caller. Protection's gotten better. They added Connerly. A lot of people liked him coming out of the draft, and they added Debo. So in terms of his surroundings, he's got a good situation. Cliff is still there. Line seems to be good. They got a good running game. They got all the receivers. They signed Scary Terry. He's happy. They got Debo now. So what would be the problem for Jaden Daniels? If he does regress, well, that would be troubling. But doesn't seem like there's any real reason for any kind of regression. If he does, that would be kind of, troubling, because what would you blame it on? Unless he had some sort of injury or something like that. That's what you got to look for. You got to look for these narratives that come up with these quarterbacks. Like a good example of these narratives was when Arch Manning struggled. So if you remember, this is an example from college, but if you remember in the first game against Ohio State, Arch Manning struggled, didn't have a good game. And if you watch the game, you saw plenty of times where he had a clean pocket and a wide open receiver, and he just missed him. And there was no excuse. The guy was wide open. He had a clean pocket, and he made a bad throw. Now, does that mean he's bad? No, of course not. But because there are so many entities and things and people and networks and corporate entities that have a lot invested in Arch Manning. For example, the man makes $7 million this year. Arch Manning is getting a salary, essentially, of $7 million. You don't give $7 million to someone just to give it to them. It's because you have a vested interest in their future. And there were so many guys on television, whether it was Herb Street, this idiot that's on the tube right now, or the worst one was Orlovsky, everybody coming on and defending Arch Manning with every excuse in the book. Oh, it was Matt Patricia's defense. Oh, my God. Matt Patricia's really Bill Belichick in disguise. The greatest defensive mind anybody's ever seen. Nobody's ever seen a wide receiver double covered before. I mean, how could Arch Manning possibly have thrown a complete pass when they were double covering people? No one's ever heard of such a thing. I mean, they just came on television and lied to you. And so that's when you know narratives are in play. That's an example of narratives are in play. There's going to be lots of narratives in play for Arch Manning because there are many, many, many people who need to see, are going to be financially tied to Arch Manning being good. And so when he's not good, they're going to bring out all the excuses you could ever come up with. So that's just something to watch for. So like when it pertains to Jaden Daniels, if he did take a step back, what would be the excuse? I mean, they fortified the offensive line. He has the same play caller, the same head coach, the same team. He's got his security blankets, Zach Ertz. He's got a good running game. They added Deebo Samuel to the receiver core. Now they got Deebo and Scary Terry as the main receivers. So what's the problem? It would be hard to come up with a narrative that would excuse Jaden Daniels taking a step back. So if he did, that would probably maybe a red flag, something wrong with Jaden. But I don't really see it. First of all, the scheme that they run is very easy for him to. It's like tailor-made for his skill set, which is a beautiful thing. You should have offensive coordinators who are tailoring their system for the quarterback they actually have. The Jets had a problem with this for the longest time. They would never do it. And now I think Angstrand is doing that for Fields, and look what happened in the first game. Great success. And look what Cliff Kingsbury has done for Jaden Daniels. This is running a system that's perfect for Jaden Daniels, and he had great success. So what would change that would really make you think that Jaden's going to take a step back? He's got the same OC running the same system that's perfectly designed for his skill sets. What exactly would be the problem? And so that I don't know, but if he did take a step back, it would be very, very troubling, I would say. But I wouldn't anticipate it. I would not anticipate it one bit. I don't see any reason for it. So if it happens, something's wrong. Something's wrong with Jaden Daniels. But I wouldn't anticipate that it will. No. You gotta look at these circumstances, because a lot of times things are the product of the circumstances, and other times the quarterback elevates above the circumstances. And it's like, man, this guy has terrible circumstances, but he elevates and performs anyway. Those are the best ones. Man, these commercials are going to drive me nuts. J.C. Penney is still around. That's amazing. How many of you knew that J.C. Penney still existed? Write in the chat if you knew J.C. Penney was still around selling towels. Who the hell's going to buy a towel from J.C. Penney? You just go on Amazon and get it. You're going to stick around on J.C. Penney? Let me know in the chat if you really realized that J.C. Penney was still a thing. We got to know here on FSPN. J.C. Penney's not sponsoring the Frankie show. I tell you that much. But it's Thursday night football here on FSPN. And so we'll just take it as it comes. We'll see what's going on, see how many people want to hang, how many people don't want to hang. It's all good. It's Thursday night here in beautiful Florida, United States of America. And we're keeping an eye on Thursday night football. Omatic says, yeah, I thought they went under. Yeah, exactly. But apparently not, because they got commercials on with Shaquille O'Neal and some stand-up comic standing up there talking about God knows what and trying to be funny. And they're trying to sell you on some would you like some J.C. Penney towels? Because I don't want any J.C. Penney towels. I don't want one J.C. Penney towel. I want a towel. I'll just go to Amazon, and within 2 days, I will have it without me moving a muscle. What am I going to do? Go stand in line? Go find the store. Who knows where the store is, first of all. Get in my car. Go try to find where the store is. And then get there. Find the towel I want. And then stand in line behind some strangers. God knows what they got going on. Strangers. They could have some communicable disease. You don't know. And then stand there, wait in line, then give the person my money, then get back in my car, come all the way back here just to get a towel. Why? Why would anybody do this? You just ordered it. Takes 2 seconds. You get what you want. 2 days later, there it is. Sometimes the next day, there it is. You know? I don't get it. But yet they're trying to sell me on getting a towel. No, I refuse. Biale, 66. My wife is old school. She still goes to JCPenney. Well, I got to tell you something, Biale, that's not for me. Somebody else wants to waste their time. I got things to do. I got a lot of things going on. Think I have time to stand in line at a JCPenney? I don't think so. Jojo was a man from Tucson, Arizona. Get back, Jojo. Primetime matchup here. 2 top teams. Yeah. Jordan Love. They say all you need is love. But I happen to notice he has 10 other people on the field. So apparently you need something more than love. You got Matt LaFleur, otherwise known as the Big Flower. We had the Little Flower on our team for a while, not anymore, but the Big Flower is the head coach of your Green Bay Packers. All right, so the Packers will get the ball first. They're returning it now from beautiful Lambeau Field. Number 83 with the ball takes it out to the 27-yard line. That's where Jordan Love, all you need is love, love. All you need is love. And the 10 other guys on the field. And that's maybe why he wears number 10. It's love plus 10. Get it? All you need is love plus these 10 other guys. Love will now start at the 27-yard line. Now, remember, he's got 2 new offensive linemen here for this game. Starters out. So let's see if the Washington pass rush and the defensive line gets some penetration. First play is a run up the middle for Josh Jacobs. It gets about 3 or 4 yards. Jordan Morgan is starting at left guard. Anthony Belton, second round pick from this year, making a start. So let's see how these youngsters do in this important game for these NFC rivals. You know, we got a bunch of youngsters in here. Let's see if Washington tries a bunch of stunts and twists and all sorts of games to make them maybe think. We got a pony package in there now, another handoff to Jacobs, and he bulldozes his way. He's going to be about 3 yards shy of the first down, and Jordan Love has not yet thrown a pass, but it's going to be 3rd and short. So let's see what Big Flower wants to do here as they move forward. Here comes Jaden Reed, their number 1 receiver. They got Reed, Dobbs, and Wicks on the field. Matthew Golden not on the field. Why is Matthew Golden not playing? Is he injured? Is Matthew Golden injured? Isn't he really good? Why wouldn't he be on the field right now? It's 3rd and short. They got 11 personnel, 3 wide receivers. They got strong passing strength to the right. Love looks right, throws, got a man wide open. Dontavian Wicks picks it up, and that's a first down. I like these helmets by the Packers. These are the all-white helmets. Something a little different. All-white uniforms with a little bit of the gold and green gold. That was an easy pitch and catch. First down. Nice job. Overload, get the guy open, levels concept. It seemed like from the bunch, nicely done. Jordan Love, 1 for 1, first down. You love to see it. But you got Wicks, you got Dobbs. Jaden Reed, of course, has a minor injury. He might have limited snaps. Second pass now, back to Wicks. That's complete for about 12 yards. That was a nice throw. I would say that was solid pass terms of accuracy. Good job by Jordan. So they're moving the ball on the Commanders' defense. Wicks with an over route. Oh, no, he came across the formation with a nice out route. Boom, bada bing, bada boom. Yeah, you got to hit that throw. That was pretty easy, actually. I would say that was a routine throw on Marshawn Lattimore. Now they run play up the middle. That's not going to work out too good. So that one got stuffed. So now it'll be second down and long. Let's see what they do here. JoJo says, I think JCPenney's online only order. I don't think so. I think they still have store. I mean, the way they were doing that commercial, JoJo, made you think they wanted you to come into the store. They were showing like a JCPenney department store, like the old days, like the 1980s. Of course, I don't have the sound on, so I don't know what they were talking about, but that's what it made it seem like. All right, we're going with this pony package here a bunch. Now Love fakes the run, throws over the middle, off target there. That was a tough throw to make. He didn't make it. There is a flag on the play. Of course, there's got to be a flag on the play. If it were up to me, I would reduce the NFL rule book by about 50%. I would get rid of 50% of the plays. I mean, the penalties. Oh, that's definitely a foul. Well, is it? Yeah. Lattimore, you're not going to get away with that, Lattimore. Marshawn Lattimore is supposed to be one of these great cornerbacks. He's the guy who formerly with the New Orleans Saints. That was not good, Marshawn. That was clearly a penalty, sir, according to the current rule book. In the Frankie rule book, might be a little different. I would get rid of 50% of the penalties. I don't like all these penalties myself. There's way too many. We can get rid of some. Where is Matthew Golden? Why is he must be injured. Must have had a surprise injury or something. You would think he would be on the field. He was their first-round pick. There is a penalty, false start, I think. The Commanders picked up Dedrick Wise this offseason. You may not realize that. He's part of their defensive line rotation. He's a good player. He used to be on the Patriots. False start. Offensive line. Oh, no. False start on the running back, Jacobs. So no good, Josh Jacobs. You're a veteran. You should know better, buddy. No bueno. No bueno. No bueno on that one. So now it's 1st and 15. Big Flower looking at his play sheet. He's also the head coach and the play caller. And Love now back to pass, throwing deep down the right-hand side and can't connect. So that would be a bad pass, I would say. Should have hit it. But if he connected, that would have been an elite throw. We're going to start tracking Justin Fields' passing in case you missed my video about it. It's now currently available to members only. We're going to start tracking Justin Fields' throws on different levels. This, if, for example, would have been an elite level throw if he would have hit it, but he didn't, so this would be a bad throw. So Love went deep there, and it was on first down, so it was worth the try. You know, it wasn't like a third down play where he was getting risky. Now he still has a couple of downs to make it up, so now he throws short to the right. Good pass there. That was a routine throw to Dobbs, complete to cut the yardage in half. Now it'll be third down and long still, but not as long. LaFleur is upset about something. He's very upset. About what? I don't know. They're holding play for something. I don't know. LaFleur was losing his mind on the sidelines. I don't know why. Love getting some pressure. Looks like a holding on the Packers. There's an elite throw right there. Catches it, but this is coming back, I think, because of holding on the offensive line. But as far as the throw, excellent. And looks like Reed is down. Yeah, that's going to be a holding or something on the offense. Clearly, these youngsters that they have on the line probably, that's Jaden Reed. Now, he has a foot injury that he's playing through, and now he's holding his shoulder or his chest or something. Yeah, Belton, the rookie, they got for that penalty. So, not good start for the young man. Guy gets past him and he just kills him. That's clearly you can't do that, sir. Oh yeah, and Kinlaw is also on this team, former Jet on the commander. You cannot wrap your arm around the man's neck, Mr. Belton. That is certainly incorrect. Now that, as far as a pass goes, that would be an elite pass by Jordan Love. That was excellent. Nice catch by Reed, and now he's jogging off the field. Looks like he has a shoulder. You might have a shoulder injury. That could be a dislocated shoulder, could be an AC joint, could be many different things. We're not doctors here on the Frankie channel, but nonetheless, it looks like he's still down and still in some pain. Now that's not good. He's already got a foot injury that he's playing through, and now he looks like he's got a shoulder or something. And so Reed is their number one receiver, I would say. They do have Matthew Golden. There he is. Now he's on the field, so he's not injured. He just wasn't in before. So number 0, their first-round rookie, Matthew Golden, is quite a prospect. So they got a number of really good wide receivers, so they are deep there. Jordan Love now back to pass, throws out to his running back, Brooks, whoever that may be. The backup running back, number 30, gets a good chunk of yardage, but now it's going to be 4th down, so let's see what they want to do here. It's going to be 4th and 2. Looks like they're going to go for it. Love is getting them up to the line. Quickly, he says. And the ref has to let them – you have to let them sub in if you sub out. I guess that's what the ref's saying. Because if the offense subbed out, the defense has to be allowed to sub. Now Love back to pass. Bouncy Castle throws, and that's not a good pass at all. And Amos deflects it. Was trying to go to Golden, was open, but the ball hung up there a little too long. There was a lot of confusion going on there at the line of scrimmage. There was a lot going on. And that was not a good pass because gave the defender a chance to catch up and knock it away. But also, if you're subbing, you can't just sub and then go right up to the line of scrimmage. And that's not how it works. You have to, if you're going to sub, you have to let the defense respond. You can't just sub and then go to the line of scrimmage. That's ridiculous. So that looked like that's what they were trying to do there. Again, without having the benefit of sound on, I couldn't exactly tell, but it seemed like that's what was going on, something like that. The ref held up the play, and then there was some confusion, looked like, from the Packers, and then Love with a throw that was hung up in the air too long, should have led the receiver probably, and probably would have had a touchdown, but knocked away, and so that ends the drive for the Packers. Reed, the only problem with that guy is his injuries. He's got a foot injury that he's playing through now. He's got a shoulder. He's, nice D. High karate says, awful throw. Nice play. And that's why I think it's going to be a good thing for me to track for maybe eventually, well, someday I'll do all the quarterbacks. But for now, just Justin Fields, because you want to know, how many of each throw do they make? If they make one elite throw per game and the rest are like routine and interceptable, that's not good. But if you watch the highlights and it's the one routine throw, the one elite throw that becomes a touchdown, you might think, wow, this guy's really good. I saw a great highlight where he threw an elite throw into the end zone. They scored a touchdown. Yeah, but what they didn't show you was all the interceptable ones. Like Bo Nix, for example, I just watched the worst game this weekend. I watched all the games. Condensed versions help with that. But I watched one of the worst games was the Titans and the Broncos. Holy cow, I couldn't even finish that game. But Bo Nix in that game had 2 interceptions and 2 other passes that should have been intercepted, but were dropped by the defense. So he basically had 4 interceptable passes. Plus he had another fumble that he lost, I think. It was pretty ugly. And then you had Cam Ward on the other side, who's a rookie in his first game, so you can't judge him too harshly. But he wasn't looking sharp either, and he had a lot of drops on his team also. Some were his fault, some were the receivers. That was just an ugly game, to be honest with you. All right, so now the Commanders take over. So now you got Jaden Daniels here with the team that was the surprise playoff team last year, They should be making the playoffs this year and shouldn't be surprising anyone. Drops it off to Austin Eckler. He's going to get 3 or 4 yards there on first down, not too shabby. So that's how they start their evening. And LaFleur is still upset with Inagbare. What is going on with Matt LaFleur? He's upset with his defensive end, Inagbare. I don't know. Maybe Matt LaFleur is taking a few too many cups of coffee before the game. How about that? Hey, maybe calm down, coach. A little placidity helps, bud. All right, Daniels now back to pass. Here's something to watch for Daniels, which is interesting, and he's going to be sacked. This is going to be interesting for Daniels. He never, ever, the thing is, it's sort of like a basketball thing with Daniels. He never rolls to his left and throws. If he's going to throw on the run, he always runs right. So here he runs right. Interestingly, they had him pretty well covered up, but then he starts running left, and he puts the ball in his left hand, and he's not going to throw if he has it in his left hand. So if you see him rolling to his right and throwing, that's sort of like the old basketball thing. If you remember, some people can't dribble with their left hand, so they say make them dribble, left, and then you can steal it. Well, Daniels has a thing where he likes to go out to his right and throw, but he does not like to go to his left at all. This was an ugly series for the Commandos. This was not good. Nice play by Evan Williams. Now, the Packers had a really good defense even before Micah Parsons arrived. Now they have Micah Parsons that they're playing inside, outside, all over the place. Here he's playing defensive tackle. He gets a pressure on Daniels. So, that's going to be a matchup all night to watch. Wherever Parsons goes, he's going to cause a problem because he's Micah Parsons. That's why. So that was not a great series by the Commandos. They did a drop-off and then a sack and then another drop-off. So that was no bueno. And they punted. Golden receives the punt, and the hell's this? Is that a safety or something? The guy ran into the end zone and got tackled. Now they're throwing a flag late, probably for late hit. But if they didn't do a late hit, what would that have been? A safety? The man ran back into the end zone and got tackled. I've never seen that before on a punt. Now they're going to get him for unnecessary roughness because he threw him around, but they didn't call any foul? Well, what are they going to say? Got tackled on the 1-yard line? I mean, the man's in the end zone by his own volition. Oh, very close. Maybe his head was down on the 1-yard line. So now they're going to have to start at the 1-yard line. What the hell's going on? They put a rookie back there to catch a punt. Jeez. Ay karate. Yeah, hit the like button for FSPN because fuck ESPN. That's why. Most of Field's best throws some are. Yeah. Some are for sure. Packers they should have a stacked defense. So let's see how Jaden Daniels and the Commanders do against this defense. If they put up a lot of points against this defense, that's really saying something because the Packers really should have a championship-level defense. And let's face it, these are two teams that are Super Bowl window right now. These are right now teams. For example, the Commandos signed what's his name? Golly. Well, it'll come to me later. They signed the old pass rusher, 36-year-old, was on the Bills last couple of years. But they signed him, and the only reason you sign a guy like that is really because you're going for the Super Bowl this year, and you need every last thing, no matter the cost. Hang the cost, they'll say. Bad decision, Golden. Stupid. Yeah. These teams will probably meet in the playoffs. It could be. Could be. Definitely could be. Von Miller, that's who it is. Von Miller. So Von Miller's on the Commandos, and he'll come in for a few pass rushes and try to get in there, sack the old quarterback. But, that's what you do when you're in your Super Bowl window. So, like the Packers and the Commanders, both in the Super Bowl window. And that's what you do. We thought we were in a Super Bowl window. We were incorrect. I mean, we might have been in 2023, maybe. But we'll never know because Aaron Rodgers decided to tear his Achilles. And that's the end of that. So they put the ball. Now, why is the ball on the 4-yard line? They threw the guy went backwards to the 1. They're putting it on the 4. This is dumb. These referees don't know their head from their ankle. And there's a pass to Tucker Kraft, a little tight end flare. Get a first down, get out of the shadow of your own goal line. Now they're showing this Matthew Golden play. That is, guy fell right on his shoulder. That's a separated shoulder probably or something. Not looking good for Jaden Reed. That's a pretty big hit for he could barely walk. He's having trouble walking with a shoulder injury. That's pain right there. Boy, oh boy. So here's a running play on, looks like 13 personnel, and they only get 3 or 4 yards. But if he's out for any significant amount of time, that would be very bad for the Packers, though they do have, quite a number of young receivers, but he's the best one. So, I would think that be time to step up for Mr. Golden. You were a first-round pick for a reason, Mr. Golden. So time for you to show the green and gold how golden you can be by being Matthew Golden. Though he doesn't seem to be getting a ton of snaps right away anyways. They're going with 12 personnel and 13 personnel. That's a wide-open tight end right there. Tucker Kraft, you might want to cover him, Commandos. He's a good receiver. Good tight end, Tucker Kraft. They drafted 2 in that year when they got him. And he's a good one. So here's a 12, might even be 13 personnel. Depends on what 86 is. Yeah, this is 13 personnel thrown out of it. I love this. Boy, if you're going to go 13 personnel and just run seam routes and have a guy, tight end, go deep, that's what I like. That's the kind of football I like. They'll never expect it. It's 13 personnel. But this is how we should be using Mason Taylor right here. And Stone Smart for that matter. You get 12 or 13 personnel. You can use those guys like wide receivers. Still counts the same. The yardage still counts the same. There's old Jacob Martin, former Jet. 55. Good to see him still in the league and doing his thing. You got to call out the former Jets when you see him. Got to call out the former Jets when you see him. Everybody wants our castaways. The Giants picked up old Xavier Gibson today. If you missed the news, we put Xavier Gibson on the waiver wire, and the Giants said, we'll take that. We would like a Fumbalaya on our team, so they got him. 2nd and 9 now. Matthew Golden in the game and in motion, left to right. Love fakes a handoff, big pass rush, but, they were trying to set up the tight end screen. But not enough time to set it up properly, so Love throws it away. He's got it to 3rd down and 9 now, 5:10 left in the first quarter. No score as of yet. Neither one of these offenses really have gotten on track significantly. One big play for the Packers, a big pass play to the big tight end, Tucker Kraft. Well, we got 11 personnel now on 3rd and 9. All the receivers on the left side of the formation, a 3-by-1, if you will. And there looks like Love is calling an audible. From the shotgun, looks left, looks center, looks right. Can't find anybody now. Rolling out to his left, to his right, and takes a couple of ferocious hits, but gets a first down. You don't want to see that happening too often. But you do what you got to do on 3rd down to keep the drive alive, that's for sure. Rolled out to his right and was able to escape the contain. Looked like there was no outside contain whatsoever from Washington, so that was not good discipline there. And easily, they also have Johnny Newton. No relation to Isaac Newton, apparently. He was involved in the tackle there, number 95. They also have Bobby Wagner, Hall of Fame linebacker, getting up there in age, but certainly going to be in the Hall of Fame when the time comes for Mr. Bobby Wagner. Not sure what. Oh, they're talking about maybe Tucker Kraft has an injury now, and we go to commercial, and we got to see George Kittle. George Kittle injured. He's on IR. How's that going to affect McCorkle Jones? We don't know. Beal says about 8 to 9 weeks. For what? 8 to 9 weeks for what? Bialy. 8 to 9 weeks. 8 to 9 weeks. I don't know. I don't know what that means. Bialy. I don't know. You got me. You stumped me. But still got a scoreless game. Couple of big plays. Here's another JCPenney commercial with the lady comedian. It's amazing how many commercials Shaq is in. Eight to 9 weeks for the Packer receiver. I mean, how do they know what it is, Bialy? Let's see what they're saying on X, if anything. They're saying Jaden Reed, who landed hard on shoulders, officially questionable to return versus the Commanders. So that's what they're saying so far as I can find. We'll keep an eye on it. The game's back on now. Tight formation here with one wide receiver out wide. They got a one-on-one, and that's exactly where they go, Dobbs. So smart play by Love. You get the one-on-one situation, keep everybody tight, one wide receiver out wide, and if you like the one-on-one matchup, you throw it to him. LaFleur is going nuts. I think Matt LaFleur is a little too caffeinated, all right? I think LaFleur needs to calm down. He's a little too caffeinated. They fake the run, get the one-on-one situation, a little slant, bada bing, bada boom, easy. Nice. This is nicely done. Nice professional operation. So with the extra point, that makes it 7-0 Green Bay Smackers. 7-0. They just scored a tutty. All you need is love. All you need is love. Plus 10 other teammates on the field at the same time. All you need is love. Love. Packers wide receiver Jaden Reed is headed for an X-ray. Hope negative for clavicle fracture. Likely positive for AC joint sprain, separated shoulder. Needs injection if he wants to return. Officially questionable. That's the latest. It could be, if it's a clavicle fracture, that could be big time trouble. But if it's just an AC joint sprain, separated shoulder, then he gets an injection and he can come back, I guess. So we'll have to see. The Packers so far have played better than the Commandos. And and it's kind of showing up in the sort of like the play wrecker named Micah Parsons, just wrecking everything. And that's what you get him for. You acquire a player like that so that when it's third down or any down, he just comes in there and wrecks everything like a bull in a china shop and ruins your whole play and ruins your whole night. And that's what Micah Parsons does. So that's why you got to think between Jordan Love and the receivers and everything they got going on offensively, plus a good defense with an added now Micah Parsons, you think maybe Green Bay could be the team that knocks off the Eagles in the NFC. Could be. But losing Jaden Reed would be a big blow to their offense, so we'll have to see how that goes. All right, so now Jaden Daniels and the Commandos, let's see if they can figure out a way to deal with this monster named Parsons when he's on the field. Well, one way to deal with him is not have him on the field, which he isn't at the moment, so that's good for them. Make your hay now, Jaden. make your hay. Call your best play now, Cliff, because Mike is on the sideline. Call your best play in your playbook. Whatever you got? Whatever you like the most. And they run a play right up the middle, and that gets stopped immediately by Lucas Van Ness. They call him Hercules. That's the guy that was picked in the same draft with Will McDonald and Broderick Jones, right around that same area. So he's a pretty good player for them. Just didn't get blocked there, so that wasn't a big skills thing. He just didn't get blocked and tackled the guy, so you might want to block him. That might be something to put in the playbook, Cliff. But now Daniels is in the shotgun. Deebo Samuel's in the game, and they run it up the middle again. Boy, they are playing conservative, trying to run. They tried a few screen passes and dump offs to the running back, and now here comes the monster known as Micah Parsons. Now it's third down, and they bring in Parsons. I mean, this Packer team could really be lethal with this combo here. I mean, if they're thinking, well, they lost Kenny Clark, so they're weak up the middle, so let's run it up the middle. Okay, but you better make yardage then, and those plays have not worked so far, so it might be a good idea, but the execution has not been good. They're putting Micah Parsons as a defensive tackle. They're running a stunt with him. He didn't get in there that time, but he did have to dump it off to Eckler, and Eckler does not make the first down. He's going to be a couple of yards shy, maybe 1 yard shy. So flag on the play, though. There's always a flag because there's way too many flags in this game of football today. We got to, I think, and they called it on what do they call a hold on Allegretti? I mean, there's just way too many rules in the rule book. We got to cut down the rule book by and he held Parsons. Yeah. I could understand if they didn't want to call it, but he's got his hands to the face. Yeah, he's got to call that. Got to call that. Yep, got to call it according to the rule book. But if we put on a public, if we did like a GoFundMe to cut down the rule book by like 50%, this is not going to work. Well, the Packers are in control of this game so far. They're only up by 7, and there's only been a couple of drives for the Commandos, but it's looking like the Packers really do have a dominant defense with Micah Parsons getting ramped up. Imagine when Micah Parsons is ramped up. How's this going to be? I mean, Rashawn Gary, Micah Parsons, Devontae Wyatt, that other guy, they got people all over the place. Edgerrin Cooper, Quay Walker, they got everybody. Who don't they have? That's what I'd like to know. Who don't they have? All right, so another puntadero for the Commandos. No bueno. And not a good return there, but he caught it. That's the main thing. That's the main thing, Xavier Gibson, if you're watching. Main thing is catch it and don't fumbalaya it. Thank you. So now Jordan Love will go back to work up by 7. Not a lot going on as far as the Commanders' offense. Alan Dodds is here. Bialy says broken collarbone. Let's check the X Files. That's what they should call this app, the X Files. Packers die. I'm not seeing it. Could be. Broken. We'll see. Yeah, so somebody says Cliff Kingsbury is terrified of the Packers pass rush, won't even let Daniels throw the ball. And that's actually something to watch when you watch these games. When you have a guy and he's playing quick game and he's, dropping the ball off and he's not really, standing back there in 7-step drops, that tells you that the coordinator is not comfortable for one reason or another. It could be the quarterback. It could be just the pass rush is too fierce. It could be the offensive line isn't, up to snuff. But the OC is not willing to let the quarterback do that. And that's something to watch. That's a good point that this person makes. And if I'm not seeing any official reports about the injury for Jaden Reed, so we'll hold off on that one till we get word. Watchalong Dodesters here. The Book of Deuteronomy's here. Everybody. Guess it's time for Golden to step up. Yeah, Golden's got to step up now, or somebody else done. They have a bunch of them. Dontavian Wicks, Dobbs. They got a bunch of people who can step up. But you would think, they would prefer Golden because they took him in the first round, and he's supposed to be a great prospect. So, Avmo, Love is better than I thought. Yeah, he's really good, man. I don't know why you didn't think so. He's really good, bro. They got lucky on the quarterback's position 3 times in a row, Havmo, over a 30-year fucking period. We can't hit one. They hit 3 in a row. Fucking bastards. Favre, Rodgers, Love. Can you believe it? I mean, it's ridiculous. And then they hit another one, Bart Starr, they're talking about in the broadcast here. They basically had 4 Hall of Fame. Well, Love, we got to see, but 3 for sure Hall of Famers, and then Love is looking like he's going to be excellent. So, I mean, what the hell, man? Well, now they give the ball, hand the ball off to Matthew Golden, who makes a couple of yards. Not a bad gain there. You see Von Miller in the game, number 24 there. Dodester. Well, every team has runs up the middle, Dodes. I mean, that's for sure. But it's just about, whether you can hit them or not, and how that depends on the blocking and everything else. So every team's got runs up the middle. But at some point, you got to say, all right, we tried that. That didn't work. Now let's try something else, whatever that may be. Washington starting slow, yep. Love 2nd and 4, goes back to pass, heavy pass rush. They're closing in, and they're going to get him. So that was not good by Love. You don't want to see a long distance situation where you're back to pass and he can't find anyone. Now you got to look at the all 22 to see maybe they were all really covered and they had nowhere to go. Now there's a guy right there you could throw to. So in other words, he didn't go through his progressions fast enough. So some of that's on him, some of that's on the O-line, of course. And but the O-line, so one of the things you could say for Washington, this O-line with these rookies hasn't exactly been great, although they gave him a lot of time right there. But it's 3rd and 14. They don't care if you catch a 7-yard pass. They just want you to catch it. Then they rally, tackle. But now it's 4th down. Are they going to go for it? 4th and 4. A lot of these teams now, they're saying, screw the punt. We don't want a punt or a field goal. I forget where they are on the field. Oh, wow, they're deep in their own territory. This is weird. They're not going to go for it. Are they? No. They're going to try to get them off sides, but then the quarter will end, and then they will punt. Yeah, that's what's happening. Hold your water, boys. Hold your water, boys. Don't let them fool you, boys. So, yeah. I mean, so basically this first quarter, Green Bay has been dominating, and they're only up 7. So you look at it from the Commander point of view and go, okay, what we thought we could do, running it up the middle because they don't have Kenny Clark anymore. We're going to block them. We're going to run duo. We're going to run inside zone. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Okay, that's not working. That's not working at all. So what's the next option? Now, The Jaden Daniels offense does run a lot of screens and short, quick game and things of that nature, and putting Jaden on the naked boots and bootlegs and things, get him to his right. We were talking about the fact that he really likes to go to his right almost exclusively, and to the point where it's a joke, that broadcasters make now about him, that he just will not go to his left, sort of like the basketball player who can't dribble with his left hand, and they always say for that player, force him to do so, and then he won't be able to, so he'll be able to steal it. It's kind of the same thing with Jaden in terms of moving to his right and wanting to throw that way, but never ever wanting to go to his left. So that's something to keep in mind. But so what can you do if you have a fierce pass rush? I would say moving the pocket makes a lot of sense. Maybe some quick wide receiver screen type things, especially if they're in off coverage. If they're pressing you, that's harder to do. So we'll see what what adjustments Kingsbury makes. If he's as good as he's supposed to be, cracked up to be, well, he'll make some adjustments. Washington sluggish. Watch party Sunday. Well, we'll be back on the Green Bean channel on Sunday. This weekend it was on my channel because Green Bean and Jeremy and the Dodester were at the game, and other people were at the game, and they witnessed yet another New York Jet loss. Dodester says, in like 13 years, right, exactly. That's what people say. After he's all washed up and no good anymore and costs $1 billion gazillion, then we'll get him, But we're trying to short circuit that whole process by hoping maybe Justin Fields is good, and he's only 26 years old or so. Maybe Justin Fields is the guy. We'll have to see. He's had one good game, but now let's see. Let's see 2 in a row, Mr. Fields, please. Thank you. JoJo says Packers have been in Super Bowl contention. Yeah, except that in this transition period, they were sort of like a playoff window team. Like as Love was developing, they weren't sure about him. Now they're sure, but as he was taking over for Rodgers, there were some. It wasn't certain that he was going to be great. So at that point, there was no expectations. Then as he started to be good and they started building the team around him, then the expectation was playoffs. And now they built up the team enough, and Love is good enough to where it's Super Bowl or bust, basically, for them. They got to go to the Super Bowl this year or next year or the year after, I would think. They got to be strong contenders for the Super Bowl. Otherwise, it's a disappointment. This is a stacked team, and they just added Micah Parsons, and they subtracted 2 first-round picks, over the next 2 years. Sure, they're not going to be, high up in the draft, but at the same time, those are still important picks for a team. I'm calling a face mask on this 59. Yeah, you can't do that, bro. Like, get your hands off of the other guy's face mask. That would be nice. If it goes up there accidentally, just get it right off of there. Quickly. You can't do that. He gets his hand on there, and then he pulls the guy down with it. Like, that's totally illegal, my man. Totally illegal. They're going to call it every single time, don't you know? Don't you see that they're calling the penalties? My goodness. All right, now Jaden Daniels taking over at the minus 45-yard line. Get it out to Debo. That was an answer, and that didn't work either. So they were ready for that one. So Kingsbury said, oh, okay, I got it. I'll get it to Debo. Debo's the do-it-all man. I'll just throw it out there, and he'll just run for it. Nope. They were ready for that. They were off. But then, and you had good blocking, but the linebackers and safety crashed down and then took care of business. And I think the ball took too long to get out there in the first place. 4 out of 4 for 9 yards is not good. Debo comes in motion. Now Daniels looks. Now lets people go downfield and gets it to Daniels and Samuel, Debo Samuel, and guy had his helmet or something. So Debo was able to make his way closer to the first down. So now it should be 3rd and short. So they should be more comfortable with a 3rd and 3 situation rather than 3rd and long, of course. So let's see what Cliffy Kingsbury cooks up here. They're at the 50-yard line, so this certainly could be 2-down territory. So you could see, and look at the Green Bay Packers crowding the line, double mugging the A. Now Walker goes back, Cooper falls back, and it's just a 4-man rush and a nice throw for a first down to Scary Terry McLaurin. Good job converting. But you see all of the things that Jeff Hafley, the defensive coordinator, is doing for the Packers. He's double mugging the A gap. He's doing some sim pressures. He's using Micah Parsons all over the line when he comes in. Sometimes he's a defensive end. Sometimes he's a defensive tackle. He's always menacing and a problem, no matter where he lines up at. So they're just using him all over the damn field like a scary-ass tool or a chess piece, the scariest chess piece you've ever seen in your life. And, that's what you should be doing. I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me. He's only going to play, maybe he's not up to his conditioning and stuff like that, so not going to play all the snaps. But when he comes in, you don't know what he's going to do. He could be a linebacker. He could be a defensive end. He could be, that's a terrible pass. Awful, Jaden. What are you doing? That was no bueno at all. Horrible. That's extra negatives on that one. You don't know what Micah Parsons is going to do. He's a defensive end. He's a defensive tackle. He's a linebacker. He's a safety. He's a cornerback. He's a nickel player. He's whatever he wants to be. That's the ultimate chess piece. I mean, Jeff Hafley has to be on cloud 9 right now. Parsons in the game now at defensive tackle. It's kind of fun to watch. Where in the world is Micah? But Daniels back to pass. No pass rush on this one. Gets a pass off. That's a nice pass, but you got to make the catch, Noah Brown. What are you doing? It's right in your hands. Pull it in. Let's go. And away from the defender. That's a good pass. That's a drop on the receiver, I got to say. Previous one, terrible, horrible pass, way behind the receiver. There was one before this was a Zach Wilson level pass. This, however, I would say was a great pass. Right in his hands. You got to make that play. Noah Brown. Parsons on this one was blocked pretty good by Allegretti, whatever his name is, the guard. And now we got a puntadero that goes to the 8-yard line. So no points for the Cliff Kingsburys. The old Kingsburys getting shut out so far by the Packers, but the Packers only have 7 points themselves, despite dominating this game and being much more fun to watch with the Where in the World is Micah game that you can play with them right now. They're only up 7-0. So, as bad as it's been for the Commandos, only down 7. So looking for update. Doesn't seem to be any updates on the injuries that I can see anyways. And so we'll have to see. But Packers defense looking good. Commandos were good at making in-game adjustments last year. Yeah, it doesn't seem like they are this year, but maybe they're still getting used to how to use Debo, etc. We'll have to see about that. Tony Alexio. Rutgers had a career game. Rutgers University? Maybe JF is our Brett Favre and we can go on a franchise quarterback run. Yeah, maybe. I mean, if you think about it, people forget that, the Packers did not draft Brett Favre. He was drafted by the Atlanta Falcons, and after 1 year, they traded him because they did not like him at all. They didn't like his Southern – they didn't like his personality. They just didn't like him. And they traded him. And at that time, I believe the Green Bay Packers had the Magic Man, right? Don Majkowski, remember that? The Magic Man. Well, he wasn't very good. So they got Favre, and then there was a big competition. Favre won it, and then the rest is history. Micah is also 26. Yeah, there you go. So that's why a 2 or 3 year window at least. We'll see how long Parsons holds up. He's already got a back injury. Jets Chaos is here. Jeremy, tell us about the game. What happened in the stands? What happened with the food? What happened with the menu selections? What happened at the game? We need a field report. All right, Love back to pass now, going deep down the middle. Can he hit this one? No, he cannot. Going for Matthew Golden, had him, and he missed him. So this is a couple of passes that Love has missed now this game that really should hit. I mean, well, this is so deep. I mean, he threw a 50-yard pass. I mean, this is – so you can't say he should hit this because this is like a 50-yard pass. But – the guy was open. So the degree of difficulty on that is high just because of how far it is downfield. But still had the man. Missed him. All right, let's see if the fighting Javon Kinlaws can do anything here. Now, remember, the Commanders gave Javon Kinlaw such a big contract that we could have gotten a 4th-round pick for free. We could have gotten a 4th-round pick for free because of how much the Commandos love Javon Kinlaw. But instead, we decided to sign Brandon Stevens, so we can't have that free 4th-round pick. We got Brandon Stevens instead. So that's something to always keep in mind. All right, Jordan Love now in the shotgun, hands it off to Josh Jacobs. That's first down. So now they're moving the ball. Habmo says they're televising the Jets game again here in the Midwest. Pretty rare. Going to have Green KSFF dialed in also. All right, Habmo. Have at it. I would recommend to everybody, if you can afford it, go to NFL Plus and get yourself a membership. It's about $15 a month. And with that, you can watch any game you want at any time and in condensed mode. Here's another deep pass down the left sideline. Can Love hit this one? Does not appear so. Was he in bounds? No. So he missed that one. So these are bad downfield passes by Love. I think this is fairly – I mean, I haven't charted Love's game, so I don't know. Ooh. Nope. This is going to be a catch. But still not a great pass. This kid made a great catch. Yeah, 1-2. He got it. And on Lattimore, no less. Survives the ground. That's a catch, buddy. All right, so not as bad a pass as I thought. But I was about to say I haven't charted, Love's game, so I don't know, whether he's typically a great downfield passer or not. Like, for example, Drake May is a great downfield passer, but his mid-range game isn't so hot. Heath made that catch, whoever that is. That's definitely a catch. There's no doubt about it. But they are going after Marshawn Lattimore. I don't think Lattimore's good anymore. He used to be good. 1, 2. I mean, this is 1, 2, 3. Simple. ABC. 1, 2, 3. ABC. But I would say, this way, if you can afford $15 a month, you can watch any game you want, anytime you want. And you can watch it in condensed version, which is 30 to 45 minutes. Instead of wasting 3 hours of your life, you can spend 30 minutes watching the same game. And it gives you the all-22 footage as well. So I would suggest that, Havmo, if you don't. Now, not everybody can afford that or wants that but Jaden Daniels looking like he's not having very much fun as he's watching Jordan Love go up and down the field. But again, they only have 7 points, but they have hit several big plays already, including that one. They had another one to Tucker Kraft, the tight end. So they've hit on a few big ones. And then otherwise have just been matriculating down the field. So we'll see. They've pretty much dominated the game, but again, only have a 7-point lead. And Cliff Kingsbury's got to be digging deeper into his play sheet, see what can work around here. After all, they only have 23 total yards. Holy smokes. Green Bay has 10 times the yardage and only a 7-point lead. Amazing. Can the Commandos get a turnover here? No, it doesn't look. That's not a great pass, but it's caught by Dobbs, and he's taking it close to the goal line now. So, again, not a great pass by Love, but good enough. Dobbs caught it, so it still counts, even if it's behind him. And so I was going to say, can the Commanders get a big, turnover, turn the momentum here? And the answer was no. They're going to leave Dobbs wide open instead and let him go 20 yards down the field on a 5-yard little pass. So no bueno for the Commandos. They're getting thoroughly outplayed. The Packers have 10x the yardage, 240 plus to 23. That's amazing. And they're only up by 7, which is why I was thinking if they could just get a turnover and then take it down the field and tie it up, it would be amazing because the other team would have 10x your yardage and it would be a tie ball game. They're putting the camera right on Javon Kinlaw. Nice guy. Like him. Didn't play too well for us. But they signed him to a really big contract, and like I said, we could have got a free 4th-round pick. We decided to do something else. All right, now Jordan Love throws out to Tucker Kraft and breaks a tackle, and they decide to let him just get all the way down to the goal line. You cannot do that. You must tackle in the open field, Mr. Commanders. Where's the tackling? Where's the tackle drills? Where's the, where's the want to? Who's this? Harris, number 3. What are you doing? No bueno. You got to do better than that, buddy. Break down and take him out. What are you doing? Tucker Kraft's a big dude. He's not going to go down when you're high on him like that. That's ridiculous. All right, so now J-Lo in the shotgun. 12 personnel, hands it off to Jacobs right up the middle, and there he goes. Down to the 1.5-yard line. So the offensive line, while they may be a little bit shaky in pass pro, seems like they're getting good push on the running plays. So that's something to be aware of for the Green Bayers, since they have 2 subs in there. And there goes Jacobs now. They're up by 14. Well, they're going to be if the extra point is any good. So we got a touchdown for the Green Bay Smackers. And now the Commandos will have to go back to work. They've been outgained 250 yards or so to 23. Matt LaFleur looks like he's had 17 cups of coffee tonight. He's yelling, he's screaming, his face is red, his eyebrows are all out of whack. He's yelling at people. He's mad at people. He's happy at people. He's got all kinds of emotions flowing. Some reason he's decided to be more demonstrative this year, I guess. And he thinks yelling and screaming at people on the sideline is the way to go, perhaps. Maybe in previous years when they hadn't made as much progress in the playoffs as they wanted, maybe it was because Matt LaFleur wasn't yelling and screaming at people. Yeah, this was the big play on this drive. Heath with a circus catch. Gets the toes in bounds. And then they just kept taking it down the field. So they are thoroughly outplaying them, but certainly the Commanders are not out of the ball game yet. You would think so with the way they've played, but they absolutely are not. No update on the injuries that I can see on the X-Files. So, yeah. Nothing going on the X-Files. So Jeremy says it was amazing, the energy watching them score 4 TDs, heartbreaking at the end, but left me with hope for the future. All right, that's good. That's good to hear. I'm glad that people in the stands were feeling that way, because it's hard to tell, of course, when I watch and do the live streams. Of course, there's no sound on, so I don't know what's going on. Way cool, Jeremy. It had to be pretty electric. I was yelling like crazy, maybe a little emotional too. Well, have Mo, maybe you got to calm down a little bit. Maybe you could take the same calm down pills that Matt LaFleur uses or needs. Jeremy says, it was a lot of fun to watch. We honestly look like the better team. We just need to learn how to win. Yeah, we need to know how to stop fumbling the kickoffs and, learn how to tackle in the open field and, get rid of the players that we all wanted rid of in the summertime when we said Gibson isn't any good and Tony Adams isn't any good and all these things. And nobody listened. Nobody listened. And then the game comes and those players are screwing up. Nobody listened. Nobody listened to the podcasters. Nobody listened. Hi, Karate. Wash looks lost both games this year. Their other game. I thought. The cart's out. Cart's out for somebody. This is not good. I don't know who this is, but we got another major injury. Unfortunately, and the whole team is out here. So this is no bueno. Diedrich Wise. So this is, if it's Wise, that's a defensive lineman they got from the Patriots. And somebody falls on his legs, so that's no bueno. Yeah, this is yet another reason for expanded rosters so that you don't lose your starting players on special teams plays. Not that you want to see anybody get injured, but at the same time, Diedrich Wise is a pretty important player for them. He's a good defensive lineman that they picked up this offseason, was going to be part of their defense. Now looking like he's got a serious injury. So that's unfortunate. Good player. I always thought he was an underrated player with the Patriots. Let's check. All these NFL reporters, the national reporters, they're so not good at their job. It's unbelievable. They don't even tell you good information. You really have to use other sources. These friggin' shills. But they'll shill for anything. Havmo says, the Jets' performance Sunday should have given us fans some good confidence going forward, which should help the team as well. Yeah. We should definitely have some confidence. I mean, let's hope that one thing I noticed myself personally, it really does seem like Aaron Glenn is having the time of his life. I think Aaron Glenn loves being the head coach of this team. And there's something to be said for that because we're the Jets. And I really think Aaron Glenn is just loving this. Even though we lost, even things didn't go well, I think he loves all aspects of it. I think he loves the practices. He loves the meetings. He loves the film study. He might even like, the media part of it. He handles them pretty well. And the games, I just thought he looked like he was having the time of his life on the sidelines. I really think he's really built for this now. Whether it's going to work out with him, I don't know. We got to win, of course. He's going to be judged like anybody else. And if it's too much losing, then it's not going to work. But I just really hope it can work for so many reasons. But it would be so nice if Glenn could be here for a long time and, have like a 15, 20-year career as a head coach. God forfend. So this seems like a very serious injury to Diedrich Wise because all the teammates are coming over and all this kind of thing, and they're about to cart him out. And so it looks like Wise has a serious knee injury or some other problem. So that's unfortunate. You don't want to see anybody get hurt. Especially seriously. But looks like it's something serious for sure for Mr. Wise. So that's no bueno. as the Commanders are trying to make a big push themselves. They got their situation is they got the quarterback on the rookie contract, so they're in their window for that reason. At some point, next couple of years, they're gonna have to pay Jaden Daniels. So, then you got to make choices at other places on the roster. So, so they're in a kind of a tough spot. You got the Packers, you got the Lions, you got the Eagles. They're all fighting to make it to the Super Bowl, and so it's not so easy in the NFC. Maybe not as many teams as in the AFC, but still. We'll see how it all shakes out. Parsons on the field for the Packers. And Daniels, so 7:30 left in the first half, 14-0 Green Bay. Washington has not looked good at all so far. They hand the ball up the middle again, so it's pretty obvious that their game plan had a lot of middle runs, as you might expect. But now they're down by 14. Are they going to abandon the plan and start throwing it downfield a little more, give Daniels some deeper options, or are they going to play scared? We're scared of your pass rush. Now they roll him out to the right, as I said. It's always to the right. And McLaurin makes a circus catch. Holy smokes. Scarence Terrence. McLaurin. That was not a good pass at all by Jaden Daniels. That would be a negative in my book. But McLaurin makes a circus catch. He's throwing way too behind people. That's not where you... Now Coleman is down. You don't want to be throwing the ball behind people, Jaden. That's not what you're looking for. You're going to get somebody killed out there. All right, Edutane says, this Packers D is terrifying. Yeah, Jeff Hafley has got to be on cloud nine. He had a good defense to start with. Then they added Micah Parsons. And you see what the Commanders are trying to do. They said, okay, you traded Kenny Clark? Great, we're going to run it right down the middle. Okay, they tried that, and they really have not been able to get any significant yardage that way. So you could see that was the plan. Like, we're gonna limit the pass rush with quick game. We're not going to let Jaden, do 7-step drops and and stand back there and get murdered by these monsters. And so it wasn't a terrible plan, but they have 42 total yards here, and we're almost to the end of the first half here. So the plan is not working, Mr. Kingsbury. Queensberry. Listen, Queensberry, time to adjust. So now an offensive lineman had to go off, so they bring in a backup, a reserve. So let's see if they get Deebo Samuel involved. Let's see where they go. They did have a big drop by Noah Brown on one of the drives that should have extended that drive. That was a beautiful pass by Daniels, dropped by Brown. Parsons gets blocked now. Ooh, that was another dangerous pass. Jaden Daniels is not exactly having a great game. I'm seeing a lot of bad passes here. And again, I'm not someone who's watched a ton of Jaden Daniels' games. Know a little bit about what they're trying to do here. But this game, he has not looked particularly great. So maybe the Packers are showing a template of how to guard against this Washington offense. So we'll have to see about that. Now here's a quick throw. There's a good one to Noah Brown. Routine throw, gets about 8-9 yards. So now it'll be 3rd and short. Maybe we need a little bit more of that sort of thing. Let's make it easy for them. Give them nice, easy reads and throws. Let them get comfortable, established, get into a rhythm, as they say. Into a nice rhythm, as if he's playing drums or something. Now here's a run. Okay, there's a first down. All right. Think about it. You really just need to go down and score a touchdown and then not let them get any points, running their 2-minute drill or anything. And you go into the half down 7, feeling pretty good considering how bad you looked for most of the first half. Now they have Debo deep in the backfield. This is an interesting formation here. This is an offset eye. Now they put Samuel in motion. Now they look to throw to him, but he's covered. Now Daniels can't find anybody, so he runs. Okay. Interesting. Debo, that was sort of like the Debo play, but wasn't fooling anybody. Jeff Hafley, defensive coordinator for the Packers. Good friend of the LaFleurs, both Matt and Mike. All right, so now it's 2nd and 5, 4:53 remaining in the game. Daniels in the shotgun, as he almost exclusively is. He doesn't do very much from under center, it seems. And they got a 2-by-1 formation. Well, really 3-by-1 if you count the tight end. Now here comes a pass rush. Oof. Good coverage by Nixon. And that's something that's very interesting. If you know you're going to do a pass rush, your corners can sit on the routes knowing that or thinking that the receiver's not going to be able to go deep. Therefore, you take that away by saying, well, our pass rush is going to get home quickly, so there's no way he's going deep, so I can sit and then drive on the ball, which is exactly what he did. Knock it away. Good job, Keyshawn Nixon. Now it's 3rd and 5. Let's see if they try something similar. Micah Parsons, is that him there, the defensive tackle position? I can't see his number. But Rashawn Gary, Van Ness, and Parsons, that's a hell of a NASCAR package. And now Daniels throwing deep, and that's a terrible pass. So lots of bad passes from Jaden Daniels tonight. I'm not seeing any kind of like passing mastery here from Mr. Daniels tonight, at least. But think about that NASCAR package. They have Rashawn Gary, Micah Parsons, and Van Ness coming, plus Wyatt. I mean, that's a heck of a foursome. I'm assuming 94 is Wyatt. I'm not sure. But this is just not a good pass. There's no chance of it being completed whatsoever. So that would be a -1 on my sheet if I was keeping track, which maybe next time I will. And they are able, however, to kick the field goal. But the problem is there's 4:27 remaining, so now Love and his crew can come down and either counteract that field goal or get another touchdown to go up by a substantial score. So not a particularly good game for Jaden Daniels so far. So let's see what adjustments they make at halftime. Micah Parsons certainly making his presence felt in terms of pass rush. They got a hellacious pass rush now. Have Mo. Yeah, I don't know about that. But, you know, one of the things about AG, he said, look, if you're gonna be making mistakes like putting the ball on the ground, you're not going to be here. And then he got rid of Gibson. So he did what he said he was going to do. So that's a kind of accountability for a coach. You can't go and say, you know, we're not going to put up with that kind of thing and then just let a guy sit on the roster who has 3 screw-ups in a game. Probably the even more annoying screw-up, well, basically Gibson had 3 screw-ups in that game, boneheaded moves. One was the fumble where the guy stripped it out of his hand. You could go, okay, the guy stripped it. It's not great. Maybe we could live with it. But what you can't live with is we blocked up a touchdown on a kickoff return. All Gibson had to do was run through the hole. We blocked it up perfect. And he trips over his own feet and falls down. And that's bad. But even worse, nobody had touched him. So he gets up and does a celebration, which, number one, you shouldn't be celebrating unless you get a turnover or a touchdown, in my opinion. But he gets up to celebrate, throws the ball on the ground, and it's a live ball. That is like the most boneheaded thing of all time. It kind of reminds me of what Malachi Corley did last year. And they're both gone now. So you can't be a bonehead. Like, he fell over his own feet and no one touched him. He could have got back up and kept running if he was smart. But instead, he wanted to celebrate. Celebrate what? Tripping on your own feet? All right. Love now hands the ball off to a wide receiver in the backfield. And I think that's Savion Williams, or gets knocked out of bounds. Some of these receivers for the Packers have the extra padding on their heads. Makes the helmet seem just a little too large, in my opinion. But hey, if they feel safe and makes them safer, hey, go for it, buddy. But it does make them seem like the big giant helmet from Spaceballs. So interesting play where they hand the ball to a wide receiver out of the backfield. That's something maybe we would want to try with a guy like Aaron Smith or something like that. So Love now under center, and again they're moving the ball. They got an 8-yard gain there. It looked like it was even bigger, but he stepped out of bounds. Now they run the ball with Jacobs. He gets 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 yards, and now there's a flag because there's got to be a flag every 2 seconds. Holding offense, of course there is. Man, if I was the commissioner, I would definitely get rid of about half the rules in the rule book. There's just too many rules. Too many. Sorry. We do not want to see these referees. So many rules you could easily get away with. Get away with getting rid of. So here's Love in the shotgun, back to pass, bounce, throws it out to the running back. Let's see if he can make a man miss. No, he cannot. So he gets stuffed up. Not the greatest idea there. All right, third down, clock ticking away. Let's see if the Washington can get the ball back and try to go down and get a score, despite having played like total garbage so far in the first half. Still totally in this game, no problem. Can they get a stop here on third down? Bobby Wag, 6-time first-team All-Pro. Yeah, that's a Hall of Famer for sure. 6-time first-team All-Pro. That is impressive. 6 first-teamers. Mike Evans, I was looking at Mike Evans today. He has never been a first-team All-Pro. All right, Love now back to pass. Looking, can't find anybody on third and long. That's not good. Now he's going to his left, throws it deep, and Jesus, criminal. This has not been the greatest quarterback play game of all time. Let's just put it that way. What the hell was that? Let's put the ball, well, it was kind of like an arm punt, I guess. So, in other words, even if it was intercepted, all right, but maybe we get a call, maybe we get a circus catch, I guess. But now you're leaving Daniels a lot of time. Now, Daniels has not been good in this game at all. Many bad passes. So he has not shown an ability to penetrate this defense. So let's see if he's able to do so. Here's the punt. That's a nice punt. And here's going to get a good return out of it. 30, 40, 45-yard line. So they got a lot of, all right, so you can very easily put some points on the board here, even if it's just a field goal. Wouldn't be a bad thing. So let's see. We're getting a tour of something here. Oh, the Packers, probably what it looks like inside a Lambeau. The Steelers have something like this too. For anybody who's ever been in the Pittsburgh Steelers Stadium, they have a Hall of Heroes, as they call it, I think. And it's pretty cool, to be honest with you. It's pretty cool. I don't know if the Jets have a Hall of Heroes or what we got going on at our event venue. Or, MetLife, people can get upset about MetLife Stadium, but MetLife Stadium is an event venue. It's not really a football stadium. All right, now Jaden Daniels back to pass from the shotgun. Let's see if they can put together a nice drive this time. Here comes the pass rush, steps up, steps out of the pocket. He's past the line of scrimmage, and he's going to be able to gain 8 yards. So that's not bad. It's an 8-yard gain, but it's not good as far as the passing game is concerned because he couldn't find anybody in the allotted time. Now we got the 2-minute warning. Jacob Martin with his signature guitar strumming that he used to do with the Jets. So let's see if there's any news about injuries or anything else. Yeah, Jordan Love now 1 for 6 on deep throws, but stat heads will say he is playing I guess that means playing great football because his ADOT is huge and all his yak plays and RPOs have generated EPA. Yeah, that's something that I'm coming to realize as well. You really have to chart a quarterback's plays via the film to complement the stats. It's got to be stats and film together, because the stats will tell you stuff that is not true. Stats can lie very easily. That's what I've learned. You really cannot shortcut like analysis by just using stats. Yeah, so we'll have to see if the Packers are doing anything to Jaden Daniels that's different than what has been done before, and if this becomes a template for how to play against him going forward, or if he's just having a bad night, which is possible, at least so far. And as we saw with J.J. McCarthy the other night, you can be having a bad night for 3 quarters, and then all of a sudden, everything changes. Hi, Karate says, we need 7 here. Yeah, well, but even if you just get a field goal, if you can just get a field goal, it's still 8 points. So, even if it's just a field goal, you get yourself into a 1-score game, and then you can, make yourself believe that, hey, it's not as bad as it seems. It's just a 1-score game, and look how bad we played, and it's still a 1-score game. But it'd be nice, of course, to get a touchdown. I would say you need at least 3, prefer 7. But don't worry. The broadcast is telling you that Richard Sherman is impressed with the Green Bay defense. Wow. Excellent analysis by Richard Sherman. Okay. Jaden Daniels from the shotgun hands the ball off up the middle again with the up the middle runs, and he does get the first down. Now, they got plenty of time ticking off, so they can run whatever plays they want. They don't have to rush. They should be, they should be urgent about it, but they don't need to rush or hurry or anything. They have plenty of time, and they're at the plus 47-yard line or so. Daniels shotgun and up the middle again with Eckler. They are not giving up on these up the middle runs. Now, it seems maybe Dante Wyatt is just playing his ass off tonight, but they do have Green Bay. They do have defensive tackles. Kenny Clark wasn't, Kenny Clark wasn't exactly Dexter Lawrence out there. So if you thought like the only reason they could stop the run was because of Kenny Clark, you thought wrong. Cliff Kingsbury. Yeah, it's a subtraction from that part of their defense. But he wasn't the only defensive tackle they had, and he probably wasn't even their best defensive tackle. Wyatt's probably their best defensive tackle, and they got a bunch of other dudes. And on top of that, they're putting Micah Parsons inside sometimes. So I think it's probably time to abandon the inside runs, Queensberry. Well, maybe he's one of these guys who just sticks with it no matter what. I know I'm right. I know I'm right. Some of the worst things in the world are people who know they're right. I'll tell you that. Food report from Jets Chaos. Food report. Daniels back to pass. Here comes the pass rush. They throw a screen to Debo. Now, that makes a lot of sense. All right, but he's tackled. Did he lose the football or not? No, I don't think so. Time is ticking away, fellas. Let's get our act together here. 3rd down. Let's go. A little quicker, a little more urgency, please, Mr. Daniels. Let's go. 3rd and 4, 35 seconds. They have all their timeouts, so they really don't have to rush, but it's getting a little close now. Daniels back to pass, rolling to his left, now in the middle, throws back to his right. That is a horrible pass. Whoa. This has to be one of his worst games ever. That is a terrible pass. Probably should have been picked. What is he doing? You got to wonder why he's so rattled. We would have to look at the all-22 footage to know what he's looking at, but the pass rush is there, but at the same time, you got to be able to operate in a muddy pocket. You can't, and now they're going for the 58-yarder. Well, if you're going to do this, you should have just run the ball. Well, I guess it doesn't matter much. and he misses it. Yeah, see? So you should have run the ball and made it closer. Instead, you tried for a crazy deep pass that had no chance of being completed because of the way you threw it. And you could have done a quick game. You could have done a run. And there is such a thing as running outside. It's called outside running. But he misses the field goal. And again, Jaden Daniels is not playing well tonight under any circumstance so far. I am not seeing a guy. And like we said at the beginning about regression, there's no real objective reason for Jaden to regress. So if he does, that would be very troubling to me as a Commander fan, if I were. Now Love has 14 seconds, and they're going to score again. See, because you didn't do the right things. Love throws it deep, and he's got a man. And now they're in field goal range. They could run one more play. They got all their timeouts. There's no reason to even hurry. They got all their timeouts, 8 seconds. You can run a quick speed out. You got your timeouts. You can kick a field goal easy. See, that was just terrible by Jaden Daniels. First of all, Kingsbury should have called a run and then taken the clock off. Well, they would have called timeout probably, but at least then you could have got closer. But you throw a crazy pass that should have been intercepted. See, these guys know what they're doing. Just run it. 3, and now you call timeout, and bada bing, bada boom. This is what Washington should have done. And now what you basically do is if McManus hits this, which is a chip shot, then you've eradicated their 3 points that they got, basically, by taking a free money. You just gave Jordan Love free money. You gave Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur a bag of free money. That's what you did by being stupid with your stupidness. Your stupidness left a bag of free money sitting on the table, and they took it. They took it. I mean, it's free money. Who wouldn't take it? So I think between these two quarterbacks, I think you can see, right, as of right now, and this is only Daniel's second year. Did he miss it? He missed the field goal. Jesus criminy. But in our game, we got to have a 60-yarder go through. These guys can't hit 40-yarders. And we got to lose on a 60 frickin' yarder. God's sakes. We can't get a doink in our own building. Fuck's sake, man. These losers. These guys can't kick a field goal to save their life. Chris Boswell is just like 60 yards, no problem. But nonetheless, the principle still holds true. So out of these two quarterbacks, you can see that Love is more advanced, right? Seems to me it's very obvious Love is more advanced, but he's more experienced. So you could say, well, hey, it's just a bad half. We'll see what he looks like in the second half. But it's not looking promising. I'm not liking the decision-making. I'm not liking what he's doing. I'm not liking the thought process. No bueno. So we'll see. Maybe it's something the Packers are doing on defense that's throwing him off. Maybe it's just this hellacious pass rush with Parsons and everybody else. But if this is the way it continues to go for the Commandos, they're not going to be a contender this year. Not with Daniels playing like this. Yeah, right. But before we get into all that, we were going to say Jeremy's bringing us with a food update. Now, Chick-fil-A. Now, why are you bringing up that it's a wonderful thing? Do you think we don't know what Chick-fil-A is? We got a Chick-fil-A on campus. Crazy. We got a Chick-fil-A. We got a Starbucks. We got everything. We got a Domino's pizza. Whatever these kids want. We got it. We got a Buffalo Wild Wings nearby. We got everything over here. We got Chick-fil-A. You think I don't know what Chick-fil-A is? Great fries, I would say. Excellent chicken sandwiches. Hey. But Jeremy's a man who will eat some fast food, that's for sure. Yeah, well, I would always encourage everybody to watch as much football as possible, including non-Jet games, because you learn so much when you watch other teams' games, and you can better evaluate the Jets and have better opinions and better thoughts about the Jets. You know, the I watched a lot of bad quarterback play this week. I mean, Bo Nix looked horrible, for example, in his game. Spencer Rattler looked bad but improved over last year, which is interesting. And then other people, I mean, even Mahomes looked bad. Like that game, the Chargers and Chiefs, Mahomes looked terrible except for a couple of incredible highlight plays, where he's almost lying on the ground throwing the ball and all this. But other than that, Mahomes looked terrible. But on the other hand, Herbert looked like Herbert was playing at a high level. So it's very interesting to watch other teams' games so that you can get an idea. I mean, that Broncos Titans game was horrible. It was very difficult to watch. Oh my goodness! Now Cam Ward, didn't look great either, but it was his first game as a rookie. His first game ever. So you got to give him a break there. And it was a lot of dropsicles from his receivers. But it's just very informative. Like, for example, maybe Daniels does have a regression. But again, like I said, there's no reason for it. So that would be troubling. Same thing with Bo Nix. Why would Bo Nix regress? Unless Bo Nix just happened to have a bunch of luck last year and he's just not that good. Because their team got stronger. They got a better offensive line. They got a running game. R.J. Harvey, by the way, looked amazing. Mr. Orlando out of UCF, baby. So R.J. Harvey's looking good as a running back there. They strengthen the offensive line. They have a great defense. What more does Bo Nix need, really? They got Evan Ingram, the tight end. I think he got hurt toward the end of that game, but still they have him. And what more does he need? But he looked horrible. He looked like dog crap, to be honest with you. He had 2 interceptions, and he had 2 other passes that should have been intercepted. He really should have had 4 interceptions. I mean, that is dog shit quarterback play. 4, that's Zach Wilson level. You can't do that. So, and again, it's just one game. I mean, who knows with these guys? Maybe they just had bad games, but still, makes you appreciate the game that Justin had, I'll tell you that much. And again, just one game. Don't want to overreact. These guys can be just fine, and maybe Justin's not good, but I think it's helpful. And if you watch these guys, regardless of what the stats is, you saw with your eyes, Jaden Daniels looks terrible, and Jordan Love looks pretty good, although he missed some deep passes also. Imagine how good the stat line would be for Jordan Love if he didn't miss those deep ones. He missed a couple, although those are high difficulty passes that you can't expect him to hit, right? Jeremy says, wings was an affordable option when I was in college. Nowadays, they want your life savings for 12 wings. Well, unfortunately, the price of wings has gone up. I guess it's wingflation. Sometimes you got to adjust your fast food eating habits to what's affordable. If they're selling you, for example, at McDonald's, you could get a free Big Mac every time we get a sack. Did you see that? Jets Chaos? I said, this is going to be bad for Jets Chaos's diet. The Jets announced every time we get a sack, you get a free Big Mac. So, you just have to adjust your fast food eating habits to what is affordable at that time. You see, you just, get the Big Mac because we got a sack, you see. And you save the wings for Christmas time. Maybe you get a Christmas bonus. You got a little extra dough. Then you go for the wings, right? So you just got to play a little bit of fast food bingo. I don't know, Omatic. He was terrible in that game. It was one game. He was terrible. It was hard to watch. They won anyway. because they faced Cam Ward in his first game, and the Titans are not very good, I don't think. They looked horrible. And so they got lucky that they were able to have their quarterback have a horrible game, but get a win, which is rare. But it's one game, so who knows? You can't judge too much off of one game, Omatic. And with quarterbacks, it's hard to tell why things are happening. Why didn't you see that the guy was standing right there? A lot of these guys, you watch the replay and they're looking at their receiver, but there's a defender standing right there, and they throw it anyway. And it's like there's a guy right there, and you're looking at him, and you throw it. Why? Why are you throwing this? And we as fans, we don't know. Because the first thing that the quarterback coach is going to say on Monday is what I just said. They're going to, or maybe Sunday night or whatever it is, whenever they're looking at the film, and they're not going to say it like I did, but they're going to say, okay, what were you seeing there, Bo? And Bo would have to have some explanation, whatever it is, but it depends what he says. Like, I thought I didn't see him, or I thought he was going to go the other way because I don't know. But based on what he says, then it either makes sense or it doesn't. And you go, oh my God, we got a problem, or, oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay. But it's hard to say. So all we could do as fans, Omatic, is just watch the games and see the results. And you see the difference right on your screen today. Love looks like the accomplished, good quarterback who's going to be good for a long time. That he just looks that way. Daniels tonight does not, even though the completion percentage is okay-ish. It's not actually, but even that's not a disaster, but 49 yards. I mean, when you throw 9 passes to get 49 yards, that's terrible, regardless of how many completions you have. So you can just see it. So we just watch and we see and we try to figure it out. I mean, leave it to better men than us to figure out the why part. Because if the why was easy to figure out, then all these great coaches on these staffs would figure it out and get it corrected. And most of the time they don't. So, wingflation is real. Yeah, man. Well, you may be doomed anyway, Jeremy. All right, so it's halftime. So I think as I take a break here on FSPN, I'll leave you with a little music. How about, would you like to hear a little music? You don't really have a choice. Let's see what we'll go with here. Music selection from the Frankie collection. How about a little tune from a band called Das Frog? Let's leave you with a song called Medallion. We'll be back right after this. Or maybe not. Play. Frankie the DJ is no good. All right, well, guess we're not playing Medallion. Why isn't that working? How about Infidel? Good golly. None of this music is working? Good golly molly. What's going on with this? Oh, well. Oh, there we go. All right, this is F song. Listen to this one.
brotherhood.
All right, well, the game's back on now. And 3rd down and 6. For the Commanders, let's see if they can convert here in this second half. Let's see if they can look a little more competent against this fierce Packers pass rush. Van Ness, Wyatt, Parsons, Gary, they got them all. How are they going to counteract it? Let's see how Daniels plays this one. 3rd and 6. He's in the shotgun. They threaten a blitz. Now they back off. With this 4-man front, no, they bring a 5th anyway and a 6th. Daniels finds his man, Ertz, for a 1st down. Now, that was a good throw there. I think the safety was looking for a penalty on the tight end, did not get it. They brought 5 and 6, still didn't get home, and he was able to find his target. So that was good play by Daniels. He stayed right in the pocket, found his man. That's what you need to do, even against a 6-man rush. So that was a good job there. Hands it off up the middle to Bill. What do they call him? Bill McCroskey Merritt, whatever his name is. So 2nd down and 6. So things are looking better so far. Now they have some weird kind of trick play going on here. Samuel goes out to the right. Daniels lets the defense go downfield and then drops it off to Samuel, who bulldozes his way within 3 or 4 yards of a 1st down. So let's see if they can convert on the money down. 3rd and 3. Last time on 3rd down, Hafley sent an all-out blitz. Six people on a rush, where your down 4 are Gary, Parsons, Wyatt, and Van Ness. And you still had to send 2 more, and you still couldn't get home. So that's high-level play to me by Daniels. I mean, most defensive coordinators would go, I already got my NASCAR package in there. I'm not sending 2 more. And Daniels found the opening, which is right over the middle, which is where this is not good. But this is not good play because Parsons just ruined your whole day. And that's why Micah Parsons gets $47 million a year. El 4-7. Holding, and he got the sack and they held him anyway. So Connerly gets a penalty, but he gets through that and gets a half a sack anyway, along with Edge Cooper. So, yeah, that's worth the $47 million, I'd say. Yeah. So now they're trying another field goal. All right. So not the best. I would say this isn't exactly Cliff Kingsbury's signature moment in play calling here. And this guy cannot hit a field goal. So, man. That's an interesting thing, too. Like, we happen to play our first game against a team, and it comes down to a field goal, and they just happen to have a killer field goal kicker. I mean, Boswell's amazing. And if we had played the Commanders and if we played the exact same game and it comes down to the field goal, maybe this guy misses and we get away with a win, and it's like, no, it has to come down to a field goal where the other team has just a killer field goal kicker. I mean, Boswell's amazing. And he's underrated, too, for some reason. Yeah, but that's just the way it goes. That's just the way it goes. Sloppy, sloppy, sloppy. Sloppy game. I would say sloppy on the Commander side. Uh, the Packers have missed a few deep passes that you can't really expect, but, you know, you had a guy open. And you missed him. So, kind of sloppy. It is still early in the season, so can't, you know, can't make too many definitive conclusions this early in the year. But uh, Commander fans have to be a little worried, whereas Packer fans are probably like, yeah, I wish we had more points, but same time, Love looks good. The defense looks good. I mean, they look like they're going to be solid. They're looking like they could be the team in the NFC championship game with the Eagles, for example. Eagles, Packers, that could be something. That could definitely be something. So we'll see. Let's check the X-Files. Jaden Reed has been ruled out, so Reed will not be returning to this game. And Love continues to carve him up. Love is all you need. Love is all you need. And plus 10 of his teammates as well. So Love, this is an excellent throw. Deep ball. That's I don't know if it's elite, but it's great, certainly. Love is just playing like a high level QB. That's the way I look at it. I mean, you watch this kid, it's just, he knows what he's doing. Here comes a blitz. All right, get rid of it. All right, move on. Got a guy there. All right, that to me, even like that, simple as that looked, that's a high level play. We don't got anything, just throw it away. Got a guy there, not going to be intentional grounding, which is one of the rules they should get rid of, by the way. And just move on to the next play. It's first down. It's no big deal, right? Simple things like that, can be high level plays, actually. Don't make it worse. Don't try to go crazy. They got you on that one. Just move on. Moving on. Here's Josh Jacobs now. Goes and runs for a first down. Frankie Louvu on the field. Former Jet Alert. Frankie Louvu now on the field. I guess they're going to measure it. So Love now under center, 3rd and 1. So it was not a first down, in fact. And they're throwing it out to nice and easy Grave, whatever his name is. Pass, tight end. Nice and easy. Again, make the easy stuff look easy. Quarterbacking 101. Guy's wide open. Just hit him. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's move on. I'll make it more complicated than it needs to be. Now they hand it off to Josh Jacobs for a few yards, and there's a penalty flag. More penalty flags. Just what we need. More penalty flags. Penalty flags. Everybody loves penalty flags. John Ryan with a holding. Yeah, well, that was. You can't grab a guy and pull him down to the ground. That would be illegal. That would be against the rules. Sorry. So sorry. Dan Quinn, the defensive mastermind, against Matty LaFleur, the offensive mastermind, who will pull out on top. And now it's first down and 20. Now we have another penalty. All right, more penalties. That's what we need, even more penalties. That's another one on the offense. Oh, false start. First and 37. All right, now it's first and 25. Man in motion. Love in the shotgun. Looking, man comes back and to the other side. Love now looking, throws to his right. He's got a man wide open. It's Tucker Kraft. He's taking the ball down to the 17-yard line or so, I think. So once again, this is a good point to make here. Like, see these penalties. There were 2 penalties in a row against the Packers. The good teams overcome their penalties. It's not that they don't matter, but they matter much less to a good team than to a bad team. Got basically all of it back there. Now it's going to be 2nd and 3, so back to manageable games. Tucker Kraft over 100 yards receiving on 4 pass catches. Or no, 2nd and 6. But still, 2nd and manageable. They're going to give it off to Jacobs, who makes a first down. So again, those penalties, if it was the Jets, especially of old, it would be like, well, and they say, why did that drive stall out? Well, we got behind the sticks and we got these penalties. Who can possibly move a ball when you get penalties? Well, who can? The good teams. And that's what the data shows you. There's no correlation between number of penalties and number of wins. So in other words, you would think that the teams with a lot of penalties would have very few wins, but that's not how it is at all. There's no correlation whatsoever between number of penalties and number of wins. Now this is bad. Love finally throws it away. By the way, Jordan Love and Micah Parsons and Justin Fields are all good buddies, in case you didn't know that. And as well, Bijan Robinson and Kyle Pitts. Those are 5 amigos in the league. Close buddies. Good old buddies. All right, so now it's 2nd and goal. 7:34 remaining in the third quarter. The Packers are looking to go up substantially on the Commandos. Josh Jacobs gets the ball. Love out there trying to throw a block. You got to appreciate that from your quarterback. But now it's going to be 3rd and goal. Can they punch it in, or can Dan Quinn's defense do something like hold them to 3 points? So here is so now they got a 3-by-1. Love back to pass. Here comes the pass rush, and he can't find anybody, and he's going to have to throw it away. So, not the greatest sequence there by the goal line, but nonetheless, they should be able to get a field goal. And LaFleur cursing again. Again, I think he's way too caffeinated for this game. LaFleur wanted timeout. He was yelling and screaming and jumping up and down, and nobody heard him. There does seem to need to be a better way to get timeouts called in the game. I mean, the official has to be looking at the head coach at the time he wants a timeout. Can't there be a buzzer or something? McManus hits it, so there you go, chip shot. 17-3, so not too shabby. At least the Commanders came out of that one with holding them to a field goal, but now they're still down 14. Well, Washington is playing bad. The defense isn't playing terrible. They have given up a lot of yards, but they haven't given up a ton of points. I mean, Green Bay had like 250 yards of offense in the first half. That's not good. So Washington's playing and Jordan Love and Jaden Daniels are playing terrible. So Washington is playing poorly. There's no two ways about it, but they're still in the game. And that's what you would take solace in if you were a Washington fan. We're playing as bad as we're going to play, and we're still in the game, so we still got a shot. That's the way you would rationalize it. Close this door over here. As we do, let's see if we can get one of these pieces of music to play. I don't know why this one didn't work before. I wanted to play this song.
It was a clear sight, a pendant handed down to me, a history, it's been given, long but shortened in my hand. Free swinging, forceful singing my name. Hang around, my hold me up, soak me in, and let them read my side. Together, it announces my every move, transforming these gatherings, clenched in my fingers it begins. Free swinging, forceful singing my name. Hang around, my hold me up, soak me in, let them read my share. Now it calls attention to my heart and to my chest. My drive is so insatiable, it drags me down. My charm hangs from a prison chain. Free swinging, forceful singing my day. Hang around, hold me up, soak me in, and let them read my shine. Free swinging, forceful singing my name. Hang around, hold me up, soak me in, and let them read my sign. Read my sign. It was so long ago, I carried that book of poems, but I had no sign. No, I had no rhyme. It was so long ago, I carried that book of poems, but I'd done my time. No, I had no shine.
Oof, another bad pass by Daniels. Man, this might be his worst game as a pro. Well, there's 5:12 left in the fourth quarter, and the Commanders are punting. The score is 17-3 Packers. Packers have been dominant, however, only lead by 14 points. Keyshawn Nixon with the punt return, that's no bueno. And so they'll have to start from the 15-yard line. Love has been excellent for the most part. The rushing game, passable, but the defense has looked stifling with Micah Parsons. You know, they already had a good defense then. They said, all right, let's go get Micah Parsons. The Dallas Cowboys want to trade him. All right, we'll take him. Fine. Make us be a dominant defense. Okay, all right. Micah now is on the side riding the stationary bike. But yeah, they're showing basically Micah Parsons and Jordan Love, and those are the two key people. Oh, they say all you need is love. All you need is love. So the NFC Championship could be Love versus Hurts. They do say love hurts, and there's been songs written about said things. But I think well, let's think about it. Probably like the Packers versus the Bills would probably be a pretty good game for the NFL's perspective. If they're really not going to let the Chiefs get back there, because the Chiefs are, based off of their first game, we're not looking great, to be honest with you. But if the NFL is really not going to rig it for the Chiefs, which I suspect they probably will, but if they're not, then somebody like the Bills or the Ravens or the Chargers seem to be the teams that could make a run for it. The Bills, we got to see about their defense. After all, their defense looked like dog crap against the Ravens. So the question is, was that the Ravens offense or was that the Bills defense? And that's the way it is. They poured a lot of resources into that defense in the offseason. So I'd be surprised if they're bad. But if that defense, and we'll find out because we're going to try to do all the things the Ravens did to them. We're going to try to do to them on Sunday. And if we are able to do it, well, then maybe that defense is just not good enough. And if that's the case, that's probably going to keep them from, from being at the top tier, surprisingly, of the conference. And that leaves you with the Ravens, and I guess you'd have the same thing to say about their defense. The Bills gouged them, but not until late and not until Josh Allen did his superhero stuff. So, what about that? And then you got the Chargers who look good against the Chiefs, but can they keep it up? You got Justin Herbo looking really elite. Can he keep up that level of play? So we'll have to see how it all plays out. Now Jordan Love has the ball. 1st and 10 on the -9, I'd say, yard line. And they're going to start with a run toward the left. Josh Jacobs with a little spin gets a yard. No more than that. So that didn't work out great. One thing you might want to say is maybe you'd want a little bit more. Well, Jacobs has 61 yards. That's not terrible. I was going to say maybe you want a little bit more out of your rushing game if you're the Packers, considering that you're supposed to be a Super Bowl team now. So you can nitpick anything you want with the Packers because they're supposed to be a Super Bowl team. Like, you can't, you have to grade them as a Super Bowl contender, not as just some old team. Not as you would with the Jets or the Browns or the Panthers. Panthers look like dog crap, by the way, on Sunday. What's his name? BY9, Bryce Young did not look good at all. So you got to wonder about that kid. We'll see. But now, they had a couple of runs. Okay, can Washington get a stop here and then force a punt? And then now they're in position. I mean, they're not out of this game by any stretch, even though they've played like total dog doo-doo. But can Love convert this 3rd down? Here comes the blitz. No, he cannot. So good choice of blitz by Joe Witt, the defensive coordinator of the Commandos. And nice job with the blitzing, forcing an incompletion. Now you got a shot. So, we keep saying this, but at some point, Jaden Daniels has to figure out how to throw the ball. What's going on here, Jaden? You're supposed to be a superstar, buddy. We were told you are a superstar and going to be an excellent player. What is happening? So let's see if Jaden Daniels can pull a J.J. McCarthy and have an awesome 4th quarter after playing like dog doo-doo for 3 quarters. See, now they're going to get good field position at the 40. Here he goes to the 50. So they'd have the ball to the 50-yard line. We need a touchdown. Enough with these field goal attempts. You don't have a kicker who can make a field goal, apparently. Steelers happen to have a guy who never misses. That's who we get to play. But this team, they miss all their field goals, apparently. 60-yarder, no problem. And probably if it was 70-yarder, he probably would have hit it. Bum. Freaking bum. Anyways. Love hurts. This is why I watch this. Come for the comedy, stay for the football knowledge, or come for the football knowledge, stay for the comedy. You get a little bit of comedy show, but you got to have a sense of humor. There's a lot of people out there, karate, that don't have a sense of humor. They were born without one. It's a very sad situation. They went to the store. They tried to buy one. It's not available at any store. And, you can't even start a GoFundMe to get these people a sense of humor, like surgically inserted into them. It doesn't work. Such a procedure does not exist. And so it's a very sad situation. So some of those people might be here and not realize that there's jokes going on. There are jokes happening. Boy, does Travis Hunter have commercials or what? Corporate America loves them some Travis Hunter, don't they? Boy, the guy hasn't even done anything in the NFL yet. He's all over the place. Travis Hunter looked okay in that game. Looked fine. Didn't look outstanding. Guy who looks outstanding is Brian Thomas Jr. That's who looks outstanding. Travis Hunter looks like, he's good. He's fine. I'm not sure he's going to be a superstar. Maybe he will be. I don't know. A lot of times with these guys, you can see it right away, even if they're not putting up stats like Malik Neighbors. You saw Malik Neighbors right away, right? You just saw there's something different with this cat, right? Even though he may not be putting up huge numbers, the quarterbacks can't throw him the ball, this and that. But you see when they do throw him the ball, there's something a little different with that cat, right? So, just like, you can just see it. So now they're comparing, I don't know who. Micah Parsons tonight, 17 pass rush snaps, half a sack, 4 pressures, 5 double teams. So, yeah, he's been doing his job. All right, let's see if Jaden Daniels can put together a good drive for once, for God's sake. Daniels back to pass, no pressure, no pass rush to speak of. Here's a pass that is broken up. This one, not sure. It wasn't a terrible pass. It was to the outside. It was deep, so high degree of difficulty. It seems like he's either throwing it 2 yards to the line of scrimmage or just gunning it deep. Brown is not exactly open. Nixon's on him all the way, so I would say that's a bad decision, though Brown really should have caught this. But Nixon was in excellent position. I'm not sure why he thought he had a good matchup there. Noah Brown is not exactly, Jamar Chase or somebody like that. So you're giving a high degree of difficulty pass to a guy who's covered. And yes, it was a good throw. And yes, he probably should have caught it. But it's Noah Brown. It's not Terry McLaurin. You could do that pass with Terry. I mean, you just paid Terry McLaurin all this money. Why not have him do that? 3rd and 1, they hand it off to Eckler. I think he's going to be short. It's going to be close, though, so they'll probably go for it on 4th down. They kind of need to. I mean, they need to get a drive going where they can do something. 4th, just sneak it. A little QB sneaker. We need a little sneaker here. Yeah, Daniels loves to be in the shotgun, man. He hates under center. All right, we got 11 personnel on 4th and inches, and we got them spread out, and we're going to hand the ball to Eckler. Oh, we got lucky. I don't know why we just don't. Well, maybe they don't like to do quarterback sneaks with Daniels because he's so thin, but, I mean, typically you want a thick dude like Justin or Jalen Hurts. Boy, they almost stopped him, too. they almost stopped him. All right, here we go. Daniels back to pass, looks to the middle, looks to the right. Here comes the pass rush now, and he's going to go down. That's a problem. They also have an Agbare. They have all these people. I mean, Rashawn Gary gets in there. How many pass rushers do you need? All of them. I mean, you notice Jadeveon Clowney, by the way, taking visits with the Cowboys. He did not sign with the Cowboys, to my knowledge. Why aren't we looking to sign Jadeveon Clowney? Maybe he doesn't want to come here. I don't know. But we should be interested in that. We need more pass rush, by the way. All right, now it's 2nd and 18. Daniels over the middle. There's a nice pass, complete to Ertz. There's your safety blanket. Now it's 3rd and manageable. All right, let's convert this. Keep it going. Let's go, Cliff. Let's get a good play going. Kingsbury versus Hafley. The match of wits. Kingsbury versus Hafley. Sir Hafley. All right, 37 seconds. 3rd and 7. Now let's see. They're probably going to dial up some pressure. Nobody in the backfield, so they know they're passing. So here comes some sim pressure or some real pressure. They bring a 5th. Cooper gets home. Throw is terrible. Boy, oh boy. Daniels is playing a terrible game. I mean, he doesn't know he's hot. He's got to go downfield to Terry, and he throws it behind him. Now it's 4th down, and we're going for it. Boy, I don't know. I think Hafley's just going to dial up more pressure. He doesn't seem to be able to handle the pressure. He's got a great front 4, but he's sending a 5th and a 6th sometimes, too, just to make it even worse. You got Micah Parsons and Rashawn Gary and all these people, and you're bringing a 5th and a 6th. Also, I mean, that's pretty hellacious, but then you got to be able to know how to carve it up. All right, Daniels now looking, throws to his right. He throws it high. There's a penalty flag. It would not be a 1st down, except there is a flag, and it's probably DPI or holding on the defense. Because, of course, it is. Every pass play, there's a flag. It's ridiculous. We got to get rid of these rules. Some of these rules, man. There's too many fucking rules. You can't. You got to let them play football. Let's see now, though. Let's see if I would in the Frankie rule book would this be allowed? Let's see. Yeah. What did he do to obstruct him? I mean, to me, that's hand fighting, and he didn't prevent him from catching the ball with the thing he did at the end. So, like, to me, I wouldn't call that in the Frankie rule book, but I would have a let him play philosophy. I don't want flags. I don't want penalties. I don't want to see the friggin' officials ever. I mean, unless it's egregious. Of course, you got to have some rules, but unless it's egregious, yeah, I would. That would not be a penalty in the Frankie Football League. No way. Yeah, Jaden Daniels is not looking too hot. And this is actually why I kind of wanted to do a live stream tonight and probably will continue to do live streams on Thursday because I want to watch these dudes, these games with different quarterbacks and so forth with the chat with you guys so that, I could bounce ideas off the chat and get some feedback and hear what you guys think. And we could watch it together and just kind of like study these other teams and other quarterbacks and see what we can learn about our own situation so we can know, figure out what we need when it comes draft time and all this kind of thing. And actually know if Fields is good or not, without having to rely on the opinions of, Zach Rosenblatt and a Connor Hughes. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it doesn't mean Daniels is bad or anything, but he's not having a good game at all. And it seems like he's either throwing it 2 yards from the line of scrimmage or he's throwing a bunch of bombs. And the long-distance passes are not connecting at all and don't seem very well thrown for the most part. He had a couple of nice ones. Brown dropped them. But other than that, they've been very poorly thrown. So, yeah. I think we'll just continue to look at these teams on Thursday Night Football, and see what we see. Study a little harder. We need to study football more. Needs to be more studying going on. Needs to be more studying going on. I tell you that much, because too many Jet fans, I think, don't ever watch any other games other than the Jets, which is really weird to me. I mean, football is the best sport in the world, in my opinion. Let's see if there's any. Yeah, people are saying the Packers have given the Commanders a chance by being dominant in the game, but not scoring in a dominant way, which is true. The Commanders are basically what they used to say, hanging around. Commanders are hanging around, No injection, no return. So Jaden Reed ruled out after the half, so they didn't give him an injection, apparently. All right, so now Daniels, 2nd and 10. Now it's the fourth quarter, okay? But they're only down 14 still. We keep saying this. They're hanging around. Daniels back to pass, flushed by Parsons. Oh, and he takes a tumble. Nice tackle by number 20, whoever that is. So, again, you made him go to his left. He hates going to his left. He likes to go to his right. And, again, Parsons causing this play to happen. Such a game wrecker. They tried to double team him. Didn't work. Connerly got beat. Tough assignment for the young man. Connerly, fresh out of Connerly, I think it was Oregon, somewhere out west. And, he used to play left tackle. Now they got him at right tackle. He's learning right tackle, and now he's got to go up against Micah Parsons. Not the greatest for the young man, but he's getting schooled. He's not going to have a good grade tomorrow, tell you that much, Mr. Connerly. Packer Mania. They're showing some of the fans. So tough assignment for Mr. Josh Connerly, but he's not going to have a good grade tomorrow. But, you'll understand why, because he's dealing with some hellacious pass rushers. And that would be the only thing that worried me as a Packer fan. If I were a Packer fan, I am a Packer owner, by the way. For those who don't know, I am a Packer owner, along with 70,000 or however many of my friends who own the Packers. But as a Packer owner, I am a little worried that we're letting this team hang around. I mean, obviously the defense is looking pretty hellacious, but still, I mean, Daniels is like one pass away from being a touchdown down. A first down, and then, see, bada bing, bada boom, scary Terry. Now, one thing you could say about Daniels, he's looked bad, right? But the confidence never goes away. That's something you want to watch. That's something we watched with Zach Wilson. When he started to go downhill, it went downhill in a hurry. Some of these quarterbacks like Daniels, like McCarthy, they could have a bad game, all day, but their confidence never suffers one bit. And so if you give them an inch, they'll take it, and then they'll build off it. So let's watch Daniels and see if he can improve upon it. Now looking to his left, he finds his security blanket, Ertz, and there he goes toward the end zone. And did he get in? He did. So there you go, just what we were talking about. That's what you like to see out of Jaden Daniels. He's having a terrible game, but the confidence never wavers. And if you give him a chance to stay in there, he keeps punching, and he makes some plays. So you like to see that out of the young QB right there. And maybe, some of this Packers defense may be getting a little tired or something, but, they blocked up Parsons okay at least, and to give him a shot to get the ball to Ertz, and Ertz did the rest. Zach Ertz is an old man. You thought he'd be retired by now. He was considering retirement a few years ago, and then he got a rebirth under Dan Quinn and the Commanders, and he's been good with Daniels. So 17-10, and this is the problem with letting teams hang around. You dominate them, but don't score touchdowns. That's a problem, And so now it's just a one-score game. Problem, you let them hang around. You let them hang around. This is what happens. Now you got to show the killer instinct and go get a touchdown, to show the killer instinct. Show you got it in you. Mr. Love. Love is all you need. But that's really something you would write down, as a scout about his resilience and his mental toughness, right? Like Zach Wilson, we saw it. When things started going bad for Zach, they just kept getting worse and worse and worse. He couldn't recover. It's like sliding downhill. Well, Daniels, McCarthy, players like that, seems like their mental resiliency is very high. They never lose faith. They always, no matter what happened in the past, they think they can do it. We got it, guys. Don't worry. What? We're down by 38? No problem. We got it. So, that's something you would note as a scout for sure. Absolutely. Let's see. Do you guys want some music during the commercial break? Well, you don't. I'm going to play some. I mean, you don't really have a choice. If I can get it to play. Let's see. Well, let's try this one.
You would do
enough of that. All right, so let's see how Jordan Love and the Packers respond. After the Commanders were able to put some points on the board. Now Love has the ball at the minus 35-yard line. Man in motion to the right. Love fakes a handoff, looks to the right, and hits Dontavian Wicks for a first down. Love remains in control and certainly looking good and accurate and in control of the offense. And it does seem like they are targeting Marshawn Lattimore quite a bit out of these defensive backs of the Commanders. He was a guy that they got to shore that up. Love up to 276 yards on the game. And that didn't look very good. So it'll be second down. Flag on the play. Flag on the play. We got more flags. Got to have a flag. More penalties. Holding. Defensive holding. That's important that they call that because, very important they called that. Hey, you broke an HR rule. HR would like to speak with you. You've broken a rule. That's not a penalty. Like, why are they calling these ticky-tack penalties? Stop it. We don't want to see penalties that are ticky-tack and have no effect on anything. So stupid. On the other hand, why did Lattimore grab him? I don't know. Really, there was no need. Love fading away, not good enough. Now, Love, that's something that he does do a lot. He fades away and throws the ball. You would say that's not perfect quarterbacking mechanics, but he gets away with it quite a lot. So here you see the ball was pretty accurate. So if the ball's accurate, I really don't care what your mechanics are. Look at his mechanics, not great. But the ball's, well, I mean, it's not horrible, but it's not exactly accurate either. So I don't know if they would say something about that to him or not about, you don't need to be fading away and throwing the ball. Because I've seen him do that a number of times and it doesn't seem to really affect his accuracy too much. So now Josh Jacobs is running the ball on second down and picked up about half the yardage needed. So be third and medium now. Third and 6. Marshawn Lattimore, 4-time Pro Bowl selection out of his 8 seasons plus, 8 previous seasons. So half the time he's in the Pro Bowl. Marshawn Lattimore, formerly of the New Orleans Saints. All right, now Love in the shotgun, looks over the middle, looks to the right, fakes now, and he's running to the right. This isn't great, but he's able to find Tucker Kraft. But there's a flag on the play. Of course, there's a flag. Way too many flags. Way too many penalties in football. We got to get rid of these penalties. Too many penalties. Every damn pass play, there's a penalty. They called it on the Commanders, so they do not accept it. So let's see this penalty. He's got his hands on. That's not a penalty. I mean, why is that a penalty? It had no effect on the play whatsoever. Again, they're calling too many ticky-tack penalties. We got to stop doing that. We got to stop making football the human resources department. You violated a rule violation. It had nothing to do with the play. Still a rule violation, we must call it. We must stop the play and let everyone know that you held him for 0.2 seconds longer than required, than allowed by law. Stop it. Stupid fucking penalty calling. So dumb. So dumb. Let them play the game. All right, 2nd down and 8 now. This is a Wildcat formation. Goes straight to Williams, and he runs. Oh, boy. Well, it looked a little weird, but then it looked good, and then it looked weird again. Weird, good, weird. So I think that's Savion Williams, if I'm not mistaken. Another Williams. We picked up a Williams today as well, or yesterday, or whenever it was. But they did a direct snap Wildcat. Wildcat is when Love exudes out of the pocket, goes to the left, challenges the defense. What are you going to do about Love, if anything? They direct snap it to Williams. He goes around the edge, and he went and got a 1st down. So now they're pretty much in field goal range, so they're in good shape here. So there should be nothing too risky, probably. They do a handoff to Matthew Golden, the rookie, and he gets 9 yards, so that's pretty good. So they are running a lot of sort of like wide receiver runs, which is interesting. A good way to get the wide receivers kind of involved in the offense if they aren't, in a good way to, mix it up. Love is up to 284, so looks like he's going to have a pretty good stat line at the end of the game. 2nd down and 2 now, so I would play it conservative here and keep running the ball, running the clock. Yep, that's what they do right up the middle. Josh Jacobs, 1st down. No need to take any big chances. If a guy's not wide open, tuck it and run or whatever it is. You just don't want to make a mistake down here. Because you really want to deflate them after that touchdown. And they've done a good job of that already by having this long drive, right? Stemming the tide of the momentum. You could have seen the momentum slipping away. Like if this was the Jets, we would have let the momentum slip away. Yeah, perfect. Wide open, Kraft, touchdown. See, if this was the Jets and the momentum started swinging toward Washington after they scored finally, after not scoring all night, right, in the 4th quarter, and they get within a touchdown, we would have done something to screw up the next drive and let that momentum continue onward. Instead, this team, a good team, says, no, we're not having that. We're having a long drive that results in a touchdown to kill all of your momentum that you thought you had in our house. And maybe it has something to do with Lambeau Field. Maybe it has something to do with Titletown. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but we need to learn to have that killer instinct like the Packers just showed there. And that's also something that you would put on your scouting report for Jordan Love. Led a killer drive. That is what killers do. And that's who you want on your team is killers. You don't want a bunch of pussies. You want killers. And Jordan Love just showed you he's a killer right there, right? He didn't make any stupid throws. He didn't put the ball in harm's way. He didn't fumble. None of that bullshit. He just went down the field and shoved it down your throat. Take this, Dan Quinn. Eat this, Dan Quinn. And Joe Witt and Javon Kinlaw and Von Miller and all these people that you got that you thought were going to play great defense, eat this. And he just takes it right down the field and calmly kills you. And that's what you need. So you love to see it out of Mr. Jordan Love. Fantastic. Because you can't let the other team, especially in your own house. I mean, it's different for us because half of our house is the other team's fans, so there's that. Whereas at Lambeau, it's pretty much all, there'll be a sprinkling of the other team, but it's like 98%, Packer fans. And so they have a real home field advantage. But at the same time, you got to build that by winning, and being good and getting people excited about seeing your team play and all that. So there you go. That's the difference, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. So we're having a commercial break. Well, maybe we'll turn on some music. Maybe we'll turn on some music, and maybe we won't. I don't know. What's this one? Some of these are working, and some of them are not. Restream is really quite strange. No. All right, game's back on. I guess we won't do any music. But there you go. So 8:57 remaining in the fourth quarter, ladies and gentlemen. 8:57 remaining. And now we'll see if what the Packers want to do on defense here. Yeah, total yards per game Commanders. Last year they averaged 369. Tonight, 144. So that is really something. So the Packers have done a good job on defense, but at the same time, it's only a 14-point lead. So if they can get a touchdown here again, and then they'll have to stop them, but they'll have plenty of time to do so. So I don't know how Gary missed him on that one, but he rushes it up for a few yards. Again, not great by Daniels. Couldn't find anybody open. Did scramble, so that's good, but instead of taking a sack. But other than that, not great. Clock continues to roll. He only picked up 1 yard, so that's even worse. Clock continued to roll. Now they're handing the ball off. That's not good. Does Kingsbury understand he's down by 14 points with 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter? He's got to stop. Yeah, I think it's time to abandon the run, Cliff. Time to abandon the run, Queensberry. 3rd and 4. Here comes the NASCAR package. And they're bringing extra guy up the middle. And no bueno. Incompleto. But now it's 4th down territory, so Dan Quinn looks utterly mystified. Fourth down and 4. Let's see if they unleash the Micah package. Yep, Wyatt, Parsons, Gary in there. Quay Walker comes, so that's 5. Here comes a 6th, and they can't complete the pass. They threw to Lane, whoever Lane is. Some Lane guy. So that should pretty much ice the game if you think about it. Very poor game for Jaden Daniels, I would say. But it really should ice the game. They should just run out the clock here and, we'll see. Keyshawn Nixon has been playing very well, I think, as well. So, yeah, no significant information on the X-Files. So, yeah, that's where we are at this moment in time.
I don't know why we're not together. I ain't tried forever to get inside of you. Your deepest thoughts are lighter than a feather. Change like the weather, slows down to rain. Be with me and I'm feeling like a lit firecracker, like I just might smack her if she turns me out again. Be with me for a time. Forever. think that pain was a virtue, the way it follows me around. You thought that I would never hurt you, but I said I never didn't try. Oh, how could I try? How could I? My company is loathsome, and my words are seldom clear. It's impossible to be lonesome behind a wall of rage and fear. Oh, how could I? How could I? I could just desert you, body and mind. Find a finer girl to worship from afar. And I am still the one that she hears while she is sleeping. I'll further be the one that she needs while she is breathing. Headlight, tail light, slow drive out of this life. There's hate, there's pain, there's desperation. There's ways of drowning in the rain. There's hope, there's love, and there's salvation, and ways of facing up to shame. I could just desert you, body and mind. Find a finer girl to worship from afar. I could just desert you, body and mind. Find a finer girl to worship from behind. Headlight, tail light, slow drive out of this life. Headlight, tail light, slow drive out of this life. One, two, three, four. When I rise from the mire, I'll be above you. It's a crime that desire had to corrupt you. I am armed with an armload of stories. Some are weighted with shame, some tell of glory. But when you rise from this madness and see how guilty your past is, you'll be so good against you. Your manufactured oppression, I guess it freed you. Well, when you rise from this madness and see how guilty your past is, you'll be so gone by then that only God will hold your hand. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Your past is, I'll watch you burn in the fire. I'll be your bird on the wire. Well, I'm ensconced with desire, but I can't handle the liar. Oh, when you rise from the madness and see how guilty your past is, so gone by then that only God will be your friend. Yeah, yeah.